What time are we going to start?
1:10 po.
Okay. Hang on. Wala pa naman tayo sa live stream. Good afternoon, everyone, to all our live streamers at home. Welcome to First City Providential College. My name is Jess Barya, and I am the School Promotion Campaign Coordinator of First City Providential College. As part of our continuing commitment in delivering excellence in education, First City Providential College never stopped providing quality young professionals. And for us to ensure or make sure that we still provide quality education to all our stakeholders, particularly to all our students, we are in partnership with two of the most prestigious accrediting agency, not just only here in the Philippines, but internationally. We are in partnership currently with, of course, our very own 𝐒𝐿𝐶𝐽𝐻. Let me share my screen. All right. With 𝐒𝐿𝐶𝐽𝐻, they are an accrediting agency that stipulate or manage that the quality education that we provide is still under their standard, especially with ISO. And I am very proud that here in San Jose del Monte, that only First City Providential College is the only school that is ISO certified and with the most numbered 𝐒𝐿𝐶𝐽𝐻 accredited programs. And I am very proud because just this year, our level 2 accredited programs, namely our elementary program, junior high school program, Bachelor of Elementary Education, Bachelor of Secondary Education, Bachelor of Science in Nursing, Bachelor of Science in Hospitality Management, Bachelor of Science in Information Technology are all now in the level 3 accredited programs. They are now our level 3 accredited programs, together along with our level 1 accredited programs, namely the kindergarten, senior high school, Bachelor of Science in Midwifery, Bachelor of Science in Tourism Management, and Bachelor of Science in Office and Management. Together along with, of course, our other programs with BS Civil Engineering, BS Criminology, BS Psychology, BA Psychology, BA Communication, BS Accountancy, BS Internal Auditing, BS Management Accounting, BS Accounting Information System, Bachelor of Technology and Livelihood Education, Bachelor of Physical Education, BS Biology, BS Computer Studies, BS Information Systems, BS IT with specialization in cybersecurity. That is actually one of the new programs that we will be offering next academic year. Diploma in Midwifery, Certificate in Teaching Education. And of course, they are duly recognized by the Commission on Higher Education. Now, if you guys gonna ask me, parang napakamahal naman yata po sa First City Providencial College. Well, you know what? As we face the new challenges of the new normal, FCPC came up with 3 learning delivery modes, and those are the online, offline, and hybrid mode. Online and hybrid mode, or online mode if you have full internet access. Hybrid if you have limited internet access, where you will be given Neo LMS account, which is our learning management system platform. And for offline, so that some of the students will have the chance to still pursue their education to First City Providencial College, even if they don't have internet access at home, they can still learn via modular based learning. All right. And this, I think, I am very proud, and I think I need to share this one for you because our early enrollment is now open. If you guys will enroll on the spot, like right at the moment, in fact, we have our online enrollment and on-site enrollment for our early registration. We are now accepting students for junior high school, senior high school, and of course, our tertiary education early enrollment. If you guys will enroll on the spot, there's no cash out needed for early enrollees. Wala po kayong babayaran if you guys going to enroll early. All right, because we believe that providing quality education is also a way of providing accessible and accessible for lifelong learning. All right. And this, I think, I am going to share as well to you with our new upcoming programs, which will be offered next academic year for us to further contribute in the business industry here in the Philippines or even in abroad. We have our programs for Bachelor Science in Business Administration, major in Finance Management and Marketing Management. For further details, and if you guys going to... Do you guys hear me? Hang on. All right. For further information or for further details, kindly check out our Facebook page. Kindly leave your message there. And of course, we have our active primary number so that you can also contact us. So I hope you guys will enjoy the rest of the program. Definitely, you guys will enjoy this webinar because this is definitely timely and relevant. Have a great day, first citizens. Ranel, I will give you now the virtual floor. Have a great day and God bless everyone.
Thank you, Ma'am Jess. Love is never wrong. This is a saying that can be applied to the self, to others, and the world. When we love ourselves, we know that we deserve more than being identified as gays. We should be respected as human beings.
When we love others, we become their allies, even if it means less for us and more for them. When we love the world, we do everything we can to make it free, to mold its understanding, and to impart to it our lifelong principles that will make it better than it once did.
Good afternoon, FCPCians. First off, we would like to express our deepest gratitude for giving time and effort to this worthwhile program.
To maintain the organization of this event, house rules must be strictly followed. Please allow me to read. We are encouraging the participants to kindly open your cameras for better interactions during the program. Participants are free to open their microphones once the interactive session starts. Until that time, kindly turn off the microphone and listen to the speakers of the event. Please refrain from commenting unnecessary and rude comments or questions. And if you have any questions, you may send a direct personal message to our moderators nicknamed as fcpc.SSC in the chat box.
Before we officially start this program, let's have an opening prayer first to be led by Aliyah de los Santos, Supreme Student Council OAC Auditor, followed by the singing of the National Anthem.
Then the recitation of FCPC Vision, Mission, and FCPC's Creed. And after which we will be singing the FCPC Loyalty Hymn.
Good morning, everyone. May we close our eyes and bow our heads as we feel the presence of our Lord. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful day that you have given us for the event that we are going to discuss later on. We are here to also thank you for giving us the opportunity to learn, to be inspired, and to create great opportunities, especially with today's topic, the Mr., Miss, and MX, supporting gender identity and expression for lifelong learning. We pray that you guide each and every one of us, especially to our speakers and administrators, our event organizers, and all that have joined us for today. We love you and we honor and glorify you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Vision. First City Providential College shall be a world-class university for lifelong learning. Mission. FCPC shall offer relevant and multidisciplinary academic programs to produce lifelong learners who are globally competitive and socially responsible professionals. Produce viable researches for local and international publication and utilization. Implement collaborative and sustainable community extension services. The FCPCian's Creed. I am a true FCPCian. I carry the name of my dear school, First City Providential College. I live up to its ideals. I have the duty and responsibility to think, act, and live with faith in God, creativity, perseverance, collaboration, intelligence, altruism, and nationalism, anywhere, anytime, and always in my life.
Provincial College, fair fountain of knowledge.
FCPCians, it is a wonderful day to celebrate the identity and expression of our brothers and sisters from the LGBTQIA plus community. Gone are the days when we are repulsive and ignorant of their group, because now, straight or gay, we become their allies.
That's right, partner. And just like what we always remind our audience, the first step to advocacy is awareness. That is why let me welcome everyone to our webinar with the title, Mr., Miss, and MX Supporting Gender Identity and Expression for Lifelong Learning, with the theme Promoting Enhanced Quality Education, Research, Educational Support System, and Lifelong Learning for All. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Ranel Martin A. Samson.
To start off, let us pay attention to Ley de la Cruz, the SSC comes representative, to give us her opening remarks.
To the school administration and faculty, SSC officers, students, after this webinar. In this day and age, the common knowledge of this gender identity is that there are only two sexes that we are assigned into since birth. That is why if you take a look at our birth certificates, it is only limited into two categories. Either you are a male or a female. But we should know that sex is different from gender. Sex, not the another way around, refers to the differences in the characteristics of a person's biological attributes such as their reproductive organs. Thus, it is only either between male or female. However, since the world undergoes true changes, there has been an ideology that they base a person's gender identity by its beliefs rather than its true biological sex. Therefore, we should be open-minded that the gender identity refers to the internal psychological sense of self and the socially constructed characteristics a person belongs to, regardless of what sex a person was assigned at birth. When asking about gender as a category, we should be extra sensitive and consider using words like women, man, and trans. Nowadays, people have been aware of these gender identities, but it does not signify that everyone fully grasps its concept. Some accept and support the variations in gender, while some take it negatively, the main reason for gender inequality and discrimination. The concept of gender identity in our recent legislation raises the concerns about safety, fairness, privacy, liberty, and most especially its impacts on young individuals. This threatens the freedom of everyone with regarding of their religion, freedom of speech, parental rights, and equal protection. But we must remember that each one of us have a dignity, and all of us should be treated fairly and equally with respect, including those individuals who identifies as a transgender, or those people who are part of LGBT community. For that, I hope everyone stays until the end of this session to learn so much more so that we can help raising awareness to this societal issue. Thank you and have a good day to all of us.
Wow, thank you very much, Lei, for your speech. Indeed, many people have their own ideas on what is right and what is wrong for each gender to act. But we should be sensitive and more open-minded about gender identity.
Thank you so much, Lei. And to give us more things to ponder, let's hear the message of our Vice President for Administration and Student Affairs, Dr. 𝐒𝐿𝐵𝐶.
Again, I would like to congratulate, and let's congratulate the Supreme Student Council for this endeavor. And really, this is timely. Kasi hindi natin nakikita, lahat tayo, ang focus ng isipan natin is the pandemic. But really, yung discrimination, yung prejudice, yung mga bagay na nahaharap ng ating mga kapatid sa community ng LGBTQ, hindi masyadong nakikita ng maraming tao. But to tell you, it is worse than pandemic. It's what's happening, which is, I think it's better to really understand, because as what Ranel is saying a while ago, awareness is the key. Actually, yung si Lay, nasabi niya na lahat ang importanteng bagay para lalo nating maintindihan. But really, we need to listen also dun sa ating mga speaker ngayon, because for sure they have more to say. But what I want to say, and how will I inspire you? Actually, kausap ko nga si Ma'am Teo nung nakaraan, inisip ko, paano ko ba inspire itong mga bata? Who am I to inspire you? I'm a straight guy. Kilala niyo ako. But I realize, matagal na rin pala akong member ng LGBTQ community. I am an adopted member of the community. Why? Because since time immemorial, I have friends. Nakapag-create ako ng friends sa mga gay individual, lesbian, transgender, and I respect them, and I really enjoy talking with them. And most of them, hindi lang basta nakipagkaibigan ako, but yung bond namin, yung friendship namin ay hindi lang basta masasabi mong magkaibigan kami at magkakilala kami. At kilala nyo kung sino yung sinasabi ko. Your Dean in College of Nursing is one of my best friends, si Dean John. And I told him that I really don't really care na I'm your friend, because I really respect all human beings. And to tell you, that's the essence of this webinar. Yung respecting all individuals is very important. Kaya nga, sabi ko kay Ma'am Star, nag-uusap kami kanina, what are the things that I will say sa mga estudyante natin sa FCPC and for them to inspire? At ang dami niyang sinasabi, but na-realize ko, really, you guys already know what to do. Ang gagawin lang ang webinar na ito is just to amplify what you already know. And that is awareness, respect, and understanding. But also, I would like to say something about dun sa pinost ninyo, allies. Yes, important that we create an alliance for us, actually, to somebody can fight for us and tell to people that they need to understand each of us. With the alliance, dapat na-consider din natin that alliance also create division. And if there's division, there's confusion. And if there's confusion, there is chaos. So what is the thing that we need to understand about alliance? In terms of this, yung pag nag-uusapan na yung respect, understanding, and awareness, being an ally is just being a comrade, being a compadre, a person to lean on, a person who will give support to an individual, but not promote anger, not promote another prejudice, another discrimination, but promote peace and harmony, because that's the essence of equality. Peace and harmony. Kasi pag yun ang nabuo ng sambayanan at ng society, there will be no discrimination. Everybody will enjoy freedom. Everybody will enjoy love. Everybody will enjoy everybody will enjoy each other. Okay? And at the same time, we will live in a nirvana state wherein everybody respecting each other. Which is, if ever everybody have a freedom to identify himself or herself, everybody can express themselves, and everybody can be lifelong learners for God, country, and humanity. So the essence of the thing for today is really awareness, respect, and understanding individual. And if we have that, we can freely live, and we can say to ourselves, we are all allies, and we are all fighting for the rights of all individuals, not only the LGBT community, but the world per se. With that, thank you very much, and hope I inspire you. Keep it up and love each other every day.
Thank you very much for being with us this afternoon despite of your busy schedule, Sir Vinci. And as a member of LGBTQIA+ community and an FCPCian, I can say that I'm in the safe space whenever I am with my FCPC family, and I hope that this will not just end inside our campus, but also outside FCPC. So before we proceed to the highlight of this event, let's have an icebreaker first. I know everyone is familiar with the 4 picks 1 word game, right? So 4 photos will be flashed on the screen, then you'll have to figure out the word that the picture shares some things in common.
So dear participants, to answer, you'll have to message the word in the chat box addressed to everyone so we could keep track. Again, message your answer on the chat box. You may do it once the pictures appear.
And for the information of everyone, we will be giving away prizes. So I'm expecting that you will participate to our game. The first 3 person that will appear on the screen will be the winner for each item or number. So before we start, pwede ba kami makakita ng virtual heart ng mga participants natin dito? Yeah, so partner, do you think we can start?
So yes, partner, pwede na tayong mag-start.
Okay, so for the first pictures, so yung unang 3 tao na makakahula nito ay makakuha ng premyo from FCPC, Student Council.
Ayan, from Ina, Justice, Kyla, Equality.
So we have winners. First one is Kyla Joy Villanueva. Second is Dijen. And the third one is Stacy. Congratulations.
So let's move forward to the second pictures. You can type in your answers on our chat box. So wala pang nakakahula, partner?
Kayang-kaya niya yan, partner. Love wins? No, it's not the right answer.
No. Hindi rin preference. Hindi rin relation.
So saan nakasali tayo dito ng partner?
Relationship.
Sayang ang mga premyo.
Kaya nga, partner eh.
Okay, so meron tayo dito mga nag-shake hands, mga nag-uusap, mga magkakahawak kamay. Love? Isha love.
8 letters. So we have 8 letters, no? Hint.
No, it is not acceptance. You can do it, guys.
Pwede ba tayong magbigay ng hint?
Feel ko, oo, partner. Sige, bigay natin yung first
Ayan,
letter.
hint na.
So, ang first letter niya is, ano ba, partner?
Letter? The letter P.
Okay, so ang first letter ng word na to is letter P. No, it is not bisexual.
No. Letter P po. Yes, letter P.
Malapit na, Stacy.
Malapit na.
Oh, yes. Meron na tayo ulit na winners, partner. So, we have Aina Trinidad, Stacy Clark Batulan, and Alfredo de la Torre.
So, yan. Makakatanggap kayo ng Gcash.
Yan. Premyo from FCPC Supreme Student Council. And then for the last set of pictures,
So yan. Type nyo na yung mga sagot nyo sa chat box.
Okay, so we have winners agad.
Bilis!
Ang bilis. So we have, wait, let me check partner. So we have Colleen De La Paz, Trisha May Policarpio, and Jenny Torino.
Wow!
So congratulations to our winners and kindly message FCPC Supreme Student Council page to claim your prize. Okay, so thank you everyone for participating in our game. I am so happy that you're really engaged in our icebreaker. And again, to our winners, kindly send your GCash number to FCPC Supreme Student Council page. And now we have to move on because now I will be introducing our guest speakers. So are you ready? If you're ready, kindly click the heart reaction button again. Okay, so today we are fortunate enough to have with us our first speaker this afternoon. She is an FCPC alumnus and former FCPC Press Corps member, a drug artist and queer activist, and a member of Bahaghari National. Let us all welcome Miss Candy Jane. Miss Candy Jane, good afternoon.
Hi there, good afternoon. Can everyone hear me? Sorry.
Yes, Miss Candy Jane, we can hear you loud and clear.
Hi
You're so
there.
gorgeous today.
Thank you so much. Medyo, sorry for being late. And thank you so much for having me, guys. Actually, besides that, I was also a proud member of the Honor Guards Club. Yes. Nakita ko kasi nandito si Stacy. Hi. Ayan. And ano pa ba? I hope meron akong masabi today na kapupulutan ng araw ng everyone. If I would be medyo lutang, pasensya na kasi galing ako sa work kagabi pa. Alam mo naman, kailangan natin get some coins, ganon. Ayun.
So thank you for being with us, Miss Candy Jane. So for the information of everyone, pwede niyo po ba i-elaborate kung ano po ba ang isang drag artist?
Ayun. So drag artists are like actors. But for drag, we somehow signify a certain persona. Mostly kasi ang drag artists female presenting, but actually it's not just that. Meron din tayong mga drag kings besides drag queens. So it's more than or within the spectrum, I mean. Basta gagawin lang siya over the top, mga ganyan. So it's how you it's somehow an artistry that includes painting because of course we do our makeup. We also act because we portray a certain persona. Ayun. But if
Okay,
you would sorry.
So Miss Candy Jane, ang pagiging drag artist pala is for all siya. Hindi lang siya nag-e-end sa LGBTQIA+ community.
Yes, actually that is correct. We also have cisgender or bio queens or bio kings. Sila yung mga straight or heterosexual people who would like to do drag as well. So again, drag is a form of art. It's not a part entirely of Soji, and everyone has Soji. So ayun, everyone could be a drag artist. It's fun. Magastos nga lang.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Candy Jane. Now let's proceed to our second speaker partner.
And our next speaker, he is a principal consultant. He is also an agender PH member and a National God Resourceful Philippine Commission and Women. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. 𝐈𝐝𝐞𝐧𝐿.
Hi
Good
everyone.
afternoon,
Magandang
Mr.
hapon.
Alvin.
Yes, hi, good afternoon. Thank you
So
for
how are you
inviting
today,
me.
Mr. How
Yeah,
are you
I'm good.
today, Mr. Alvin? Yes.
I'm good. Yeah. Thank you for inviting me again.
So, Mr.
Okay.
Alvin,
Go partner.
can you tell us more about yourself and your advocacy?
Yeah, I'm actually a consultant of the Philippine government, so I'm handling key government agencies in the Philippines, providing them technical management, directives, strategies para ma-integrate ang gender and development in their programs, policies, their services, no, and their systems. So usually, majority of my work is talagang simple, talagang puro isip. Talagang laging nag-iisip kung paano ba natin gagawing mas equal and equitable ang government service aking isang work. And then nagturo din ako ng Gender and Society sa University of Makati. Nagturo din ako sa Cebu Normal University before. And naging researcher din ako ng University of the Philippines, Manila. So marami-rami din akong ginagawa actually. So pero yung majority of my time is nakatutok talaga sa mga Philippine government or public sector. Kasi sila yung minandatuhan ng batas para magbigay ng services and interventions para tumugon sa gender inequalities. So yun yung aking ginagawa.
Wow, so thank you so much, Mr. Alvin. Grabe, ang dami niyo pong ginagawa. Parang hindi ako makahinga sa sa dami. Ang dami.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Mr. Alvin. So let's proceed to our next speaker.
Okay, so for our last speaker for the day, he is the Vice President at Family Planning Organization of the Philippines, Youth Core Group Davao. He is also youth volunteer at Mindanao AIDS Advocate Association and organization representative at Beta One. Mindanao Vice President for Partnership and Marketing at International Youth Fellowship Philippines. Region 11 Director at Every Boto Counts, and an SSG President at Daniel R. Aguinaldo National High School. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Alfredo Palco Aguilo-Goza.
Ayan, hello po, good afternoon. Magandang
Good
hapon
afternoon
po.
po.
Hello po, good afternoon. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Muli, I am Alfred Palco Aguilo-Goza, or you can call me Fred. And to be honest, I'm very pressured and honored at the same time to be here because this is my first speaking engagement outside the Davao City and Davao region. So I am from Davao City and you are from Bulacan. Correct me if I'm wrong. Bulacan po, di ba?
Yes po.
Opo. So it is my first time and accompanying the two of your most prominent and finest speaker is both an honor and a blessing for me. So I hope that we can have a productive day. And I am a volunteer of the Family Planning Organization of the Philippines. The FPOP, or also known as FPOP, is a organization across the Philippines. It is not just from Davao City. May mga chapters kami sa iba't ibang areas here in Philippines. However, parang wala ata kaming chapter sa Bulacan. And I am advocating specifically for HIV and AIDS awareness and the SOGI, the sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression since I was a grade 9 student. And now, I am still a grade 12 student. So parang mga ate and kuya ko kayo talaga because I am still a senior high school student. Oh, hello po, Sir Alvin. So ano po, it's nice to meet you po. So I am still a grade 12 student and parang ako ata yung bata. And however, I will try my best to really give you and inspire you and to share my knowledge on what I have learned in my almost 4 years serving the organization and the Philippines. Yun po. Good afternoon.
So thank you so much, Fred. And as a reminder to our participants, if you have personal questions, you may access the Mentimeter app and the code will be sent on the chat box. We will be scanning through the questions later until there is still time. So now let's proceed to the question and answer portion of this webinar. Speakers, are you ready?
Yes, ready.
Okay. So let's proceed to the first question. So this question is for Miss Candy Jane and Mr. Alfred. So there are too many terms that are confusing in advocating for the LGBTQIA+ community. What is the difference between gender identity and sexual orientation? Miss Candy Jane, pwede po kayong mauna.
Ayan, umpisa pa lang, Q&A portion na pala ito, no? Ayan. So, the question is, ano ba ang pinagkaiba ng sexual orientation and gender identity? Well, for sexual orientation, actually, ito yung how you would, it's paano ba? Tumutukoy kasi ito dun sa kung ano yung, kung mostly kung saan na-attract ang isang person regardless of if it's sexual or what do you call this, emotional, yung attraction niya doon sa sa ibang tao. So someone could identify himself or themselves as heterosexual or homosexual. It's already parang given na. But besides that, kasi after a long study, they also were able to identify na ang sexuality is not just it's not just two types. It's a spectrum. So there's also bisexuals, demisexuals. We also have pansexuals. So ayun. So siguro konting pahiling na lang doon sa konsepto ng pagiging heterosexual, homosexual. So heterosexual in technical term, sila yung attracted sa same gender nila. Like for example, if I am male assigned at birth, I am also attracted to I will be attracted to sorry, nagugulan na ako. Ito na. So for homosexuals, yes, for homosexuals, it's gonna be the same gender. So if I am male assigned at birth, I would also be attracted sa male gender as well. It's gonna be the same thing for females. So for heterosexual, it's gonna be the opposite attraction for gender, and for bisexuals, it's an attraction of two or more genders. For pansexual, they don't really have any bearing with regards to gender. They are attracted regardless what gender you identify yourself. And for demisexual, as far as I know, that is they require emotional connection before they get attracted sexually, as far as I know. Ayun.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Candy Jane. Mr. Fred?
Ayun, hello po. Can I share Can I share a screen so that I can isang screen lang naman po. Is it okay?
Yes, it is.
Okay, sige
Okay
pa.
na.
Here. Ayan, nakikita niyo po ba? Para mas maintindihan talaga ng mga participants natin. When we talk about sexual orientation, kailangan lang po natin itatak sa atin is the puso. It is the puso po. And the gender identity is the isip. Okay, so yun lang po talaga yung kailangan natin tandaan. And by that, matatandaan na natin or malalaman na natin ang difference ng sexual orientation and ng gender identity. So to be more specific, sexual orientation refers to who you are physically, tama po si Ma'am Candy kanina, physically, romantically, sexually, or emotionally attracted with. Ibig sabihin, the sexual orientation is about the attraction. Regardless of what type of attraction is that, mapa-physical, mapa-romantical, emotional, or any attraction, as long as you have that attraction, that is your sexual orientation. And gender identity naman po is the isip. So the isip, it refers to how you or a person identify yourself or himself or herself. And please take note that the gender identity may or may not correspond with your sex at birth or sexual orientation. So i-explain ko po onte ha. Ibig sabihin po sa sexual orientation, kanino ka nagkakagusto? Regardless of parehas man kayo ng sex at birth, yun yung homosexual. You are attracted to same sex, okay? And heterosexual, tama din po yung sabi ni Ma'am Candy kanina, you are attracted to the opposite sex. So ibig sabihin, that is why we or the LGBT community are really pushing that 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸 is for everyone, because even cisgender or heterosexual people has sexual orientation. Kahit lalaki ka, nagkakagusto ka sa babae only, that is your sexual orientation. So ibig sabihin, may 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸 ka, may sexual orientation ka, and your gender identity, yun yung pananaw mo sa sarili mo. For example, you are male at birth, you are male identified at birth, and yung paningin mo sa sarili mo today is lalaki talaga, then that is your gender identity. So ibig sabihin, kahit lalaki ka, kahit hindi ka member ng LGBTQ+ community, you have 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸. You have sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression. So to wrap it up, all you have to remember when we talk about sexual orientation is puso, then gender identity is isip. So yun po.
Thank you, Fred. Sir Alvin, you have something to add po?
Yeah, hi Renel. Just to give parang more context, no? Bakit ba ginagamit yung term na assigned at birth? Dati naman hindi naman natin ginagamit yan. Pag sinabi lang natin sex, sex lang, di ba? Parang wala nang assigned at birth. Bakit may nadagdag na mga na ganitong word? Ang ibig kasi sabihin nito ay ito po yung tinatawag nating sexual identity. Ang sexual identity ay kung paano po natin kinikilala ang ating sarili, kung tayo ba ay lalaki, babae, tayo ba ay maaaring magkahalo, no, na masculine and feminine, or maaaring hindi tayo nag-identify doon sa ano na yon, sa framework na yon, no, or doon sa paniniwalang yan. At yung identity na yan ay nade-develop natin yan habang tayo ay tumatanda. Habang tayo nagkakaroon ng kamalayan sa ating sarili. Nagkakaroon tayo ng awareness through our experiences, through our education, exposure to culture, exposure to information. Lahat ng yan na-experience natin. Therefore, nagkakaroon tayo ng mas malawak na awareness kung sino ba talaga tayo. And usually, ang nag-identify talaga niyan is ikaw. Pero kung napansin po ninyo, yung mga birth certificate natin, nakalagay na yung sex mo. Hindi ikaw ang nag-identify nun. Di ba? Hindi ka naman pinanganak tapos nung ngumangawa ka, sinabi mo agad, lalaki ako. Di ba? Wala namang ganun. Diba? And usually, merong nag-assign na ano yan, na professional sa birth certificate mo. And ito po yung doktor o kumadrona or nurse, sila yung naglagay ng male or female. Bakit ba nilalagay yung male or female na yan doon pa lang at birth, no? Kaya naging sex assigned at birth kasi inassign yan sa'yo. Ang purpose kasi nun is for census. Kasi gustong matrack ng isang bansa kung ilan po ba ang dami ng mga ipinapanganak na mga tao sa kanilang nasasakupan. Yun, demographics kasi ang tawag diyan. And usually sa demographics, dalawa lang ang na-identify based on the biological characteristics, yung katawan, no, na nakikita mo sa panlabas. Ito yung typical female body and the typical male body. So dalawa siya. Pero meron pang ikatlo pagdating natin sa sex. Ito po yung intersex individuals. Ang mga intersex individuals, ito po yung merong dalawang ari na sa katawan nila. Pero wala po kasi tayong technology in the Philippines to identify intersex individuals. Kaya usually, nalalaman lang ng mga intersex na ay meron pala siyang isa pang ari, no, paglaki niya na, pagka naging adult na siya, kasi nagpakita na, nagmanifest na yun, nagmature na yung kanyang katawan. So tatlo talaga ang sex natin or biological sex. That's male, female, typical female, and intersex. Pagdating natin sa gender, ito po yung sasabi nating identity. Ito yung pagkilala mo sa iyong sarili, kung ikaw ba ay lalaki o babae, kanino ka nagkakagusto. And ito yung sinasabi ni Candy at sa ni Fred kanina, no? Na pag sinabi mong sexual orientation is kung kanino ka nagkakagusto. This is usually an outward manifestation ng iyong mga desires. So usually meron niyang iba-ibang levels of attraction. May physical attraction or sexual attraction, which is very common. Pero hindi lahat ng mga tao nakaka-experience niyan. It's just majority of the people may physical or sexual attraction. Pangalawa is yung emotional or romantic attraction. Ito yung pag nakikita mo siya parang gusto mo na siyang makasama habang buhay, mga ganon. Yan ang emotional attraction. Meron ding intellectual attraction na pagka nakakamit ka ng tao na talagang feeling mo ang taas ng IQ, ang talino, yun yung talaga nagbibigay sa iyo na parang na-turn on ka talaga, parang ganyan. Meron yung spiritual attraction, di ba? Ito yung higher level of attraction, and usually nade-develop ang spiritual attraction sa mga taong matagal nang magkakakilala. Kung magpareha na sila ng level ng parang tingin in terms of hindi we're not talking about religion, ha. We're talking about their spirituality, their self-awareness. No? So, 4 ang levels ng attraction. And actually, sa pag-aaral, lumalabas na 2 ang tinitignan natin pag pinag-uusapan natin yung sexual orientation. We're talking about sexual orientation and romantic orientation. Sexual orientation is yung physical attraction mo to another person. Ito yung maririnig natin na heterosexual, homosexual, bisexual. So ito yung most commonly known. And then, syempre, lumutang na ngayon yung pansexual. Pansexual are those people who do not see other people in their sex as a basis for them to be physically attracted to that person. So yan yung physical or sexual orientation. And then yung romantic orientation is yung kanilang emotional attraction to that person. According to psychologists and sociologists na nag-aaral ng sexuality, marami pong mga individuals na kung saan ang kanilang sexual orientation at saka ang kanilang romantic orientation may minsan taliwas. No? So maaari kang attracted, for example, physically sa isang sex, Pero pagdating mo sa romantic, pwede kang attracted to anybody. So dalawang klase ng orientation na meron tayo. Ang gender identity is something that's different. It's more inward. Ito naman yung pagkilala mo sa iyong sarili. If you are a man or a woman, or you're a mixture of this, or maybe you're not part, or you just see yourself as a human being. No? And ang gender identity is more, sabihin na lang nating, matagal ma-develop dahil matagal yung level of awareness, no, and building nun over time. Kaya pagdating natin sa gender identity, hindi rin siya parang automatically kung anong gender identity mo, yun din yung sexual orientation mo. Many studies actually have shown na magkaiba din yung tahak ng dalawang yan. So yun lang for now.
Yes, Ms. Candy Jane.
And then, susugan ko lang din yung sinabi ni Doc, no? Actually, that is correct. When it comes to gender identity, it would be a very long journey for an individual. Share ko lang din yung personal experience ko because when I was a kid, I thought that because I was female or feminine when I was growing up. So I thought that I was a trans woman back then. So through time, of course, nagkakaroon tayo ng kamalayan sa ating sarili, and I was able to realize na it could really change from time to time, from time as you develop. So ayun. And also when it comes to gender identity kasi, paano ba? Ayun, basically ganun lang din yung gusto ko sabihin. Ayun. It's gonna be a long journey for everyone. So if meron tayong friend that might be somehow confused pa as of the moment, ayun, we have to understand, and I think we were gonna tackle that, how to deal with those friends later on.
Okay, thank you to our speakers. Grabe, first question pa lang, grabe nag-uumapaw na yung mga learnings na nakukuha namin sa inyo. So before we proceed to the second question, I'm reminding everyone to please accomplish the attendance form given in the chat box section, and also if you have questions to our speakers, kindly access the mentimeter.com. Okay?
So now let's proceed. Sorry po. So now let's
Sabi echo
proceed
partner.
Sorry po. So now let's proceed to our second question. Grabe kanina, no? Ang dami. Dami kong natutunan. Ano pala, wide pala. Parang, akala ko, bakla, ganyan. Okay na. Tapos, ang dami pa pala, di ba? Nakakatuwa.
According to our speakers nga, partner, sobrang lawak niya pa. And later on, mas malalaman pa natin kung ano nga ba talaga yung mga other parts pa nito.
So yes, ito na po yung ating second question. So, why is gender equality a concern for all and not only for the LGBTQIA+ community? So can we have Miss Candy Jane?
Ayun. So, kagaya nga rin ng sabi natin kanina, no, everyone actually has SOGI. Lahat tayo may assigned gender at birth. We all have gender identity. We all have also gender expression. And we're fully aware that regardless of our SOGI, lahat tayo we encounter discriminations regardless pa kung female presenting, if we are masculine presenting, if we are straight, if we're not. Lahat tayo merong, alam mo yun, merong may discrimination na natatanggap. So it is very important for us to recognize that, and also kaakibat nun, it's very important for us to also support causes that would, alam yun, empower everyone with their SOGI, kasi nga, ayun nga, everyone everyone experiences discrimination. And ayun, kaya for me, I think I would also take this opportunity na rin to somehow encourage everyone to support the SOGI bill, because again, it's not just for the LGBTQ people, it's for everyone. Para ito sa mga nanay natin na nakakaranas ng discrimination at work, if they are working in a masculine dominated field. Ito ay para sa mga fathers natin that, alam mo yun, na nakaka-experience din ng discrimination. It's for everyone. So ayun, it's very important to know it.
So thank you so much, Miss Candy Jane. How about Mr. Alvin?
Bakit natin kailangan, ano yun, ang tanong, bakit natin kailangan suportahan at ano mga ba talagang issue in the first place, no? Bakit ba bakit ba na-attach natin ang usapin ng SOGI sa LGBT, samantalang lahat naman tayo ay merong sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression. The reason kung bakit na-attach siya with the LGBT, no? Actually, ang SOGI ay para sa lahat. It's just that na-highlight talaga yung LGBT individuals. It's because according sa mga pag-aaral at saka sa dami din ng mga cases, mas marami pong mga LGBT individuals ang nakaka-experience ng inequalities, nakaka-experience ng stigma and discrimination on the basis of their sexual orientation and gender identity. Nakaka-experience din ang mga lalaki, definitely. Nakaka-experience din ang mga babae, definitely. It's just that, by the numbers, mas maraming nakaka-experience na LGBTQ individuals, no, na hindi natatanggap sa trabaho, o kaya natatanggal, hindi na po promote, kung sa school naman hindi pinapa-graduate kapag hindi siya magko-conform, hindi niya puputulin yung buhok niya, mga ganun. Ang daming mga ganyan mga cases. And usually sa LGBTQ individuals yan na nangyayari. Kaya pagdating natin sa usapin ng SOGI equality, kaya bakit yung term na SOGI equality? It's because gusto nating ipantay yung karapatan ng na-experience ng mga individuals who are not identifying as LGBTQ, yung mga na-experience nila, sana ma-experience din ng mga taong outside of that so-called binary. Binary ang tawag natin yan, gender binary. Ibig sabihin, paniniwala na dalawa lamang kasarian sa mundo. Yun ang gender binary. At ang gender binary na yan ay paniniwala yan na umabot hanggang sa batas, umabot yan sa workplace, sa school, umabot sa mga polisiya, umabot yan even in the family, no, sa treatment sa inyo ng parents nyo na dalawa lang, wala nang iba, mga ganun. Gender binary yan, yung concept na yan. At yung paniniwalang yan ay patuloy na naipapasa. Kaya na ang nangyayari ay na-alienate o nahihiwalay natin ang mga individuals na hindi maaring tumutugma doon sa identification ng gender binary. Kaya sila ay nakaka-experience nung discrimination, stigma, pag-ostracize. Kaya concern ang gender equality. Kasi hindi lang yan concern ng LGBTQ individuals, concern yan ng lahat. Dahil pag binaliktad mo ang sitwasyon, halimbawa, ang LGBTQ na ang maging majority at ang mga heterosexuals ang naging minority, pwede ba silang ma-discriminate because they are heterosexuals? The answer is no, di ba? Dapat the idea is, dapat walang nadi-discriminate based on your sexual orientation and gender identity. And usually, ito yung like ko sinasabi na pagka lagi naman may karapatan naman ng mga LGBT dito sa Pilipinas, bakit ba natin dadagdagan? Parang like ko sinasabi sa kanila, anong karapatan ang tinutukoy nyo? Kasi ang karapatan na tinutukoy natin dapat absolute yan. Kumbaga kung anong karapatan na na-experience mo, dapat na-experience din yan ng ibang tao. Diba? Unless of course if you're deprived of your right. For example, if nakulong ka, mga ganyan, madideprive ka talaga of your liberty. Diba? Pero kung wala naman, halimbawa, you're an individual functioning in the society similar with the others, bakit ikaw pwedeng ikasal? Bakit sila hindi? What's the basis? Diba? Bakit sila pwedeng mag-adopt? Ikaw hindi. Bakit sila pwedeng magkaroon ng conjugal property? Bakit sila hindi? So all of these questions, no, when we ask these questions, pwede ba 'yon na sabihin natin na ikaw hindi ka pwede ikasal kasi straight ka? 'Di ba syempre sabihin nila hindi naman pwede 'yon. Because mahal ko siya, kailangan ko siyang pakasalan, gusto ko siyang pakasalan. Ay hindi pwede kasi straight ka . Is that discrimination? Yes, of course it is discrimination. Kaya so sa pinang gender equality at sa pinang SOGI, no, concern yan ng lahat, hindi lang ng LGBT individuals.
So thank you so much, Mr. Alvin. So grabe, no? So let's proceed to the question number 3.
So for question number 3, why do some people find it difficult to reveal their true gender identity despite of knowing that they will be more comfortable that way? So this question is for Mr. Alvin and Mr. Alfred. So Mr. Alvin, pwede po kayo mauna?
The reason being is hindi kasi safe ang environment for them to actually tell their sexual identity or their gender identity to other individuals. Yun yung reason behind. Na dahil maraming mga experiences na kung saan when they revealed who they are, no, they were subjected to torture, they were subjected to nagiging na-ostracize, no, inihiwalay sila sa lipunan. Hindi na nila na-experience, so dati nilang na-experience, natatanggalan sila ng basic human rights, no? Na dati na-experience naman nila nung hindi pa sila nag-quote out. Actually, ang gusto talaga natin sa isang lipunan, in the future, sana umabot tayo sa ganong klaseng civilization na hindi na dapat proseso ang pagka-come out, yung word na come out. No? Because in a world na equal na ang lahat, hindi na issue dapat ba akong magsabi about my sexual orientation? Kumbaga, it's your life. Kumbaga, nobody should dictate, nobody should actually tell you about if you're leaving it wrong, if you're leaving it right, diba? And that when you tell people about your sexual preferences, for example, that's your choice. Kumbaga, hindi ka nasasubject to stigma and discrimination in doing so. Yun yung primary reason why. Pangalawa siguro kung bakit hindi sila nagsasabi about their sexual identity, it's because they know na walang magpoprotect sa kanila. So number one is the presence of violence. Number two is that there's no policies in place to protect them. For example, in school, if I'm a student, no, pwede ba akong magsabi sa mga teachers ko? Pwede ba akong magsabi sa mga classmates ko? Well, yes, you can. But pag nagsabi ba ako, halimbawa, Sagrado Katoliko itong eskwelahan, nalaman tuloy ng mga educators, nalaman ng administration, hindi ako pinagraduate. So ngayon, naging parang instead na nakatulong sa akin yon, naging mas nakasama. No? Kasi walang policy that protects. Actually, in the Philippines, only 15% of the entire country will protect you from discrimination based on your sexual orientation and gender identity. Kasi ilan lang ng mga local government units ang may mga ordinances. Kaya ganun kahalaga ang isang comprehensive anti-discrimination bill or social equality bill or law. Kasi wala 15% lang. No? Pero pag tinignan po ninyo yung dami ng mga na-abuse, yung dami ng mga nabubuli sa school, for example, sobrang taas pagdating natin sa sexual orientation and gender identity. Meron pong policy ang DepEd, may policy ang 𝐶ED pagdating sa merong Anti-Bullying Act of 2013 na minimension doon na you cannot bully someone based on their sexual orientation and gender identity. But it's good in paper. Maganda lang siya sa batas. Pero pagdating natin sa implementasyon, nga ang ating educational institutions, walang nagmo-monitor, walang nagpo-police, no? Walang nagbabantay pagdating dito. Merong nagbabantay ng mga NGOs. Pero pagdating natin mismo sa loob ng struktura like DepEd, 𝐶ED, wala, nga. Kaya yan yung main issue natin ngayon. So yun lang yung dalawang reason kung bakit nahihirapan yung mga tao to come out.
Thank you, Sir Alvin. Ang ganda ng sinabi mo na sana dumating tayo sa point na hindi na maging process ang pagka-come out ng tao. And alam ko na after this webinar, mas magiging educated na ang mga nandito. And yun nga, hindi na siya magiging process. And mas free na silang i-express sa sarili nila. Thank you so much, Sir Alvin. Sir Fred?
Okay, ayan. Good afternoon po ulit. Actually, after Sir Alvin answered the question, parang sabi ko, okay, we don't have to answer the question na because Sir Alvin really answered it all. Parang di na siya dapat sundan because specific and correct na talaga. Pero siguro for me, that's why, or siguro based on experience or the experiences of other people, some people are difficult or find it difficult to reveal their true gender identity because of yung answer kanina sa question number 2, because of the gender-based discrimination. Kaya natatakot ang mga kabataan or not just the kabataan na sabihin or ipakita kung sino talaga sila kasi natatakot sila na ma-judge, ma-discriminate, lalong-lalo na ng pinagkakatiwalaan mong mga tao because to be honest and to be specific, minsan yung family or yung friends or yung relatives ang siyang unang huhusga, di tatanggap sa kung sino ka talaga. So, in a context, tama din yung sabi ni Sir kanina sa kanyang second point na there's no protection that will protect those who are member of the LGBT community, imagine like in the context of a butterfly, di ba a butterfly, before mag-butterfly siya, nandun muna siya sa pupa in which kailangan niya mag-take time before siya mag-come out as a beautiful butterfly. And a butterfly has the freedom na lumipad, na magpakilala, na ipakilala kung sino siya. However, in the context of human, wala tayong freedom. May freedom man, sinasabi mang may freedom, tama din yung sinabi kanina ni Sir Alvin na may mga policies in the DepEd or some agencies, pero hindi talaga siya na-apply as tama. Example, you are not allowed to wear what you want. For example, hindi ka pwede magpataas ng buhok kasi lalaki ka. Hindi ka pwede magpalda kasi lalaki ka. Although kahit dumaan ka na sa transition or kahit you're identifying yourself as a woman. So meron siyang policies pero hindi siya na-apply. And that is because of the gender-based discrimination. And dahil dito, natatakot majority ang mga kabataan, lalong-lalo na yung mga walang some friends that would lift them up or that would motivate them. So that is why the 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸 bill or the anti-discrimination bill is very important because lahat tayo nahuhusgahan, and kahit yung ibang mga lalaki, meron kasing ibang lalaki na I have some friends or I have this a friend na natatakot siya na i-reveal yung kanyang identity because pananaw talaga sa kanya daw ng buong pamilya niya is lalaki siya. However, nagkakagusto siya sa kapwa lalaki and mas feeling yung gender expression na. And yun, isa yun sa pinakaano. So tama din yung sinabi ni host Ranel na sana after this webinar, we would educate, we would inspire and motivate our fellow youth, our fellow friends na it's okay. And actually, as advocate of 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸, it's normal na magtago muna or hindi pa tayo ready or hindi pa tayo sabihin kung sino tayo. Pero the question is, until when, hanggang kailan natin sasabihin or hanggang kailan natin itatago? It's normal, it's valid na hindi muna tayo ready. Pero hanggang kailan? Kung matatakot tayo always sa possibility, sino ang magsasabi para sa atin? Pero kailangan kasi dapat tayo yung magsabi. So what I want to say to end this, take your time. You have the time and take your time to help your friends, to encourage them, to motivate them, and to let them feel that nandyan ka sa tabi nila if ever they are ready na sabihin kung sino sila. So yun po.
Thank you, friend. So, Miss Candy Jane, do you want something to add po?
Actually, wala na. Nasabi na nila lahat. Pero ayun, susugan ko na lang din, no, na ang pagka-come out, sana we have to acknowledge na if we would like to really build a comfortable environment for everyone, wag nating i-require yung mga tao to really come out. If they would share their gender identity with us, if they share their 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸 with us, it's a blessing that they trusted us, but never ever push someone na mag-come out because it's really not necessary, and not everyone is ready sa ganong, alam mo yun, ganong turn of events sa buhay nila, knowing na it would really cost them a lot of, a lot of things. Ang daming magbabago, all of the circumstances could be changed. So ayun.
Yes, Sir Alvin.
Yeah, may dagdag lang ako. Para lang to sa ating lahat, no, na may mga kaibigan, for example, na mga nag-open up sa kanilang sexuality to us. Here are some of the phrases that you should not say. Parang huwag mo sasabihin sa kanya hanggat maaari. No? Number one is, sana sinabi mo sa akin pa. That kind of statement, bakit? Ini-invalidate mo siya sa timeline niya. Kumbaga parang, bakit, yun nga sabi din ni Candy, di ba? Lahat tayo may sariling time. And baka hindi pa siya handa during that time, hindi pa siya open, hindi pa siya ready. And usually sabi pa nga nila, ang mga tao na nag-come out, no, nagsabi ng kanilang sexuality, these are individuals who are already prepared. Alam na nila kung anong pagdadaanan nila, alam nila na maraming discrimination, alam nila na patutuksuhin sila, na madi-discriminate sila, and they are ready to face and fight. Kasi ang laging minamention ng mga parents, no, anak, wag sana muna ngayon. Kasi baka mamaya ma-discriminate ka. Huwag ka munang mag-out. But actually, the reason kung bakit siya nag-out, kasi ready na siya. Yun ang sagot doon. Number two is, yung it's a phase. uy, ano lang yan, baka mamaya pinagdadaanan mo lang yan. O kaya naman yung lagi natin minamention na, hala, buy now, gay later. These are all stereotypes, no? And we should not even say that. Actually, napaka-stigmatizing nung phrase na buy now, gay later. Pag sinabi niyang bisexual siya, period. Huwag mo nang i-invalidate, huwag mo nang sabihin na, bakla ano mo talaga yan, nagtago lang. Hayaan mo siya na siya ang mag-identify nun in their time. Kasi hindi mo yun buhay, no, in the first place. Tapos yung ito pa, yung lagi nating na-mention na alam ko, nasabi ko na nga ba eh. Yung mga ganyang linya, I knew it, mga ganon. Bakit? Kasi parang inaano mo sa kanya na parang alam na namin lahat, amoy na namin, ikaw na lang hindi tanggap ang sarili mo. Parang may ganon, no? Parang again, na-i-invalidate yung kanyang journey dahil once again, pagdating natin sa usaping gender identity, sexual orientation, it's their perspective kasi buhay nila yon eh. Hindi mo na-experience ang na-experience nila. Kaya hindi natin alam kung ano pinagdadaanan niya. Ito din, kapag sa mga relationships naman, no, lalo sa mga same-sex relationships, so sinong babae sa inyo? So sinong lalaki sa inyo? You know, these questions are very intrusive, very personal. Now, and usually, ang tanong na yan ay tinatawag nating heteronormative. Anong ibig sabihin ng heteronormative? Heteronormative, meron tayong standard na heterosexual o yung mga taong nagkakagusto to the opposite sex. Yun yung standard. Kaya yung mga bakla, mga lesbiana, mga transgender, bisexuals, lahat sila, yung buhay nila, ina-align natin doon sa standard na yun. So yun yung tanong na, so sinong babae sa inyo? Pwede bang magkaiba ang dynamics ng gay couples and relationships versus heterosexual couples? Of course. So don't ask that question. Tapos, huwag mo din siyang bigyan ng label, yung friend mo na nag-come out. Halimbawa, nagsabi siya sa iyo na, friend, nakakagusto ko sa same-sex, mga ganyan. Tapos, the next day, ang tawag sa kanya, Bex, Backler, mga ganun. Tapos tinawag mo pa siya sa buong school, sa canteen. Hoy, Bex! Mga ganun. Diba? So stigmatizing yon. Kung hindi niya ginagamit yon in reference to themselves as a term, don't use that term for them. And ang pinakahuli na gusto kong tip para sa inyong lahat, don't tell their story to other individuals without their consent. Yun po yung pinakamahalaga sa lahat. Number one, well, alam po nating maraming marites sa mga paligid-ligid. No? Pero dapat ay storya nila sila ang magkikwento at hindi ikaw. Ngayon kapag may nagtanong sa'yo, uy, Ronel, yung narinig ko, yung isang mo daw kaibigan, Bex daw ba yan? Totoo ba? So, don't say anything, just say, tanongin niyo siya. So, ganun. No? Don't incriminate yourself. And kapag sabi mo, baka tayo masabihin, best friends naman kayo, it's not my story to tell. Story niya yun. So, ganun. Laging ganun. Mas magandang approach yan. Okay?
Thank you so much po for answering our third question. Tama nga yung sinasabi ng mga speakers natin na hindi dapat tayo yung magkukwento ng hindi nating storya. Okay, for the fourth question, so before we proceed to send your questions, you may access menti.com and use the code sent on the Zoom messages. Okay?
So yes, partner. So sabi nila wait natin 'di ba kung kailan sila ready. Kasi hindi natin sila pwedeng madaliin kumbaga ganon. So pero masarap sa feeling no pag free ka na express yung sarili mo, yung walang magja-judge kasi nakikita ko nowadays kasi karamihan sa kaya hindi nila express yung self nila kasi ginajudge agad sila not knowing their story, 'di ba? So, ayan, let's proceed to the fourth question. So, the fourth question is, if we are curious about someone's gender, but we don't want to offend them, is there any way to inquire in a respectful, non-judgmental, and genuine manner? So, Miss Candy Jane?
Ayun. Actually, this question, it takes me back doon sa aking experience nung nag-aaral pa ako sa FCPC. Alam mo naman, kapag mga bata pa tayo, of course, we don't know any better. We didn't know any better back then. So, uso sa amin yun yung, bakla ka ba? Yung mga ganong tanungan. Oo. But as we grew up, actually, of course, nagkakaroon tayo ng learnings. I realized na yung mga ganong tanong pala is somehow offensive. Ayun, kasi going back doon sa ating sinasabi kanina, no, that not everyone is ready to come out or to identify themselves in a certain label or manner. So, probably we might ask them for their pronouns. Siguro kung talagang kailangan nating, just for the sake that we can, how we would refer to them. Alam mo yon, but to really know their soji, to really know their sexual orientation, to really ask for it, it's somehow intrusive, and it's somehow offensive in a way. If I would if I would be asked for my soji tapos hindi ko naman talaga siya kilala, I would be somehow offended with that. Most especially for those people na hindi pa talaga kayang i-recognize yon and i-express yon out loud. Again, we have to remember that when it comes to these topics, there's always sensitivity connected to it. So kailangan it's them eh. So kung sabihan kanila about their identity and such, ayun, it's it's their story again. It's for them to tell, not for us to divulge or anything else. So yeah.
So thank you so much, Miss Candy Jane. So yes, Sir Alvin.
Meron akong usually dalawang laging sinasabi pagdating natin sa pagtatanong ng mga ganyang klaseng tanong. No? Number one is intention, number two is use. So sa unang sa unang aspeto, intention. Ano ang intensyon? Bakit natin siya tinatanong? Bakit natin gustong malaman? Gusto mo lang ba kasi gusto mo lang makichismis? So that's number one, intention. Diba? Or tinatanong mo yon dahil mahalaga yon, dahil for example, if you're providing services, providing information, if you're providing, for example, a certain program, mga ganyan. Kaya kailangan mong tanungin. Diba? So that leads us to the second aspect. What's the use? No? Saan makukuha yung datos? Saan mapupunta? For example, if I'm going to be asked about my sexual orientation and gender identity, saan mapupunta yung data na yun? I mean, will it be used for personal gain, personal use, or will it be used para sa pag-i-improve ng system, pag-i-improve ng program, pag-i-improve ng policy? Kasi kapag ganon, baka mas maging open yung mga individuals in telling their sexual orientation and gender identity. Example, if meron pong sa school, meron po kayong iniisip na magandang program that will address the issue of LGBT students. So ngayon mag-a-ask kayo about, okay, what is your sexual orientation and gender identity? Pero hindi natin sila pipilitin kung gusto nilang magsabi o kung gusto na i-disclose. Pero dapat explain kung bakit natin yung tinatanong. So the purpose why we're asking this question is because it will guide us. Kung ikaw yung program implementer, kung ikaw ba teacher ka, it will guide you kung ano ba talaga yung profile ng students mo. Ilan dyan sa kanila ang identifying as LGBT, bakit siya ganun kahalaga? Example po nito sa ginawa ko sa students ko before sa klase. I did made a test. No? Tapos na lumabas na 30% of them are actually hindi nag-identify strictly as heterosexual. So ibig sabihin nun, 30% of my students are actually sensitive to jokes na maaring patama sa mga sexual orientation, yung gender identity, mga ganyan. So para sa akin bilang isang educator, alam ko na dapat na pagka mga ganyang mga topics, I have to be more sensitive. And dapat alam ko din paano tugunan o i-answer yung mga ganyang klaseng tanong. Okay? So, dapat naintindihan din ng mga students kung para saan yung information na kung bakit ko siya tinatanong sa kanila in the first place. So, yun yung dalawang bagay kung gusto talaga nating malaman, di ba? Kung ano yung intention muna, tapos at kung saan paggagamitan yung information. Sa'yo.
So thank you so much, Mr. Alvin. So Sir Fred, do you have something to add po?
Siguro idagdag ko na lang kasi nasabi na rin dalawa ni Sir Alvin and ni Ma'am Candy. Siguro if yung susundan ko doon is yung sinabi ni Ma'am Candy na if ever man gusto mo talagang malaman, you can ask the pronouns. Pero if ever meron kasing ibang tao na nahihiya, and ako, I am one of those person or people na nahihiya magtanong sa kung ano yung pronouns kasi baka ma-misinterpret nung tinatanong ko kung ano yung intention. Doon babalik tayo kay Sir Alvin. Kaya ina-explain ko. Kaya sometimes I am using gender neutral language. Gender neutral language are the words or some words na pwede natin gamitin instead of this word. For example, SK chairman, you can call him SK chairperson. Another example is that the congressman, if hindi natin alam or if gusto talaga natin maging tatawagan natin sa legislator instead of policeman, police officer, ganon. If ever man nahihirapan tayo to express ourselves on how we should call them, let's use gender neutral language. And I will share my experience. When I registered in the COMELEC here in Davao City, I encountered a police officer. Tapos I was long hair that time. Then when it was my turn, tinawag niya ako, okay ma'am, okay ikaw na po. Tapos parang na-shook ako onte. Then I look at that officer. Then sabi niya, ay okay, sorry po, ma'am or sir. So I am very happy because a police officer was oriented and was educated about that very sensitive topic, because all we need to do is to be sensitive. Kasi merong ibang tao na it doesn't mean na long hair sila, gusto nila tawagan sila as ma'am. It doesn't mean na short hair sila, gusto nila tawagan silang sir. So we have to be sensitive. We have to, if ever man hindi natin talaga alam and wala tayong courage, then let's use that again, the gender neutral language, para hindi tayo maka-offend ng ibang tao. So yun lang po.
So thank you so much, Sir Alfred. Sorry po. Ayan. Proceed tayo
Ayun, so
sa...
ayun, partner, gusto ko lang din i-share yung experience ko kasi since nagko-practice teaching na ako and one of my students, imagine, mas bata sa akin, ang na-experience ko na siya pa mismo nagtanong kung paano niya ako i-address. So yung simpleng bagay na yun, sobrang sarap sa pakiramdam. And yun nga, nakikita natin na unti-unti, nagiging sensitive na yung mga tao sa paligid natin. Okay. So bakit ako nagiging emotional? Okay, so for the fifth question, what is the difference between gender equity, gender equality, and women empowerment? Okay, so this question is for Miss Candy Jane.
Ayan. Guys, I have to be honest, no? This is something very technical kasi. And for me, medyo inaaral ko pa din siya on my own. But based on what I've learned, gender equality is self-explanatory for all genders to have equal rights, equal access to everything, equal basic human rights. And for me, when we say kasi equity, base lang to sa pagkakahinuha ko dun sa akin na pag-aralan is it's the process of getting equality. Yun, it's acknowledging acknowledging that all genders are not equal and taking actions to really get equality. Ayun. And for me, I think
yung sagutin Candy. Yes, you go Candy.
Ayan. And na pressure naman ako, si Doc yung susunod. Hindi, okay lang yun.
Ayan, tama naman.
Ayan. And when it comes to women empowerment, I think that is a part of gender equity because we all know that when it comes to our society, medyo dehado ang kababaihan talaga in most cases. So when we empower women, we somehow perform gender equity to get gender equality. That's how I understand it. So
Thank you, Miss Candy Jane. Sir Alvin.
Tama yung sinabi ni Candy kanina, no? Pag sinabi natin gender equality kasi that's the goal. The goal is na magpantay-pantay lahat ng mga tao pagdating sa kanyang karapatan, oportunidad at benepisyo. Yan at saka resources, no? Access sa resource. Yan po ibig sabihin ng gender equality. Gender equity is the process. Isa po siyang proseso para ma-attain natin yung gender equality. Paano po yung prosesong yun? Ang prosesong yun is to take into consideration yung mga lived experiences ng mga individuals yung kanilang mga learnings, perspectives, yung kanilang mga pinanggagalingan, yung kanilang mga knowledge, no, values, beliefs. Pag pinapakinggan natin yan sila, binibigyan natin sila ng oportunidad para marinig natin kung saan ang gaps, no? Paano ba natin sila i-approach? Kasi pagdating natin sa usapin ng gender inequality, hindi pagkapantay-pantay ng mga individuals, hindi po yan pare-pareho. For example, maaring si Candy nakaka-experience ng discrimination, si Fred at saka ako nakaka-experience ng discrimination, pero si Candy ay nakaka-experience ng discrimination hindi lamang dahil sa LGBT individual, kung hindi dahil sa expression niya, yung the way na tinitingnan siya ng tao sa panlabas. Kung titingnan mo sa amin dalawa kami ni Fred, kami masculine kami tignan, siya feminine. So the way kung paano siya tratuhin ng lipunan, pagdating natin sa usapin ng discrimination, no, mas makaka-experience siya ng stigma and discrimination dahil ang nakikita ng mga tao sa kanya is apart doon sa kanyang sexuality is yung kanyang expression na kami hindi namin ma-experience. Example, no? So yung mga bagay na ganyan, kino-consider natin yan. Pagdating natin sa usapin ng policy, no, sa usapin natin ng programa, sa mga serbisyo na binibigay natin. So pagdating natin sa school, for example, paano ba natin pinapasok yung gender equity? No? Ang gusto natin ay maging equal lahat. Lahat ng estudyante may access to basic education. That's equality, tama? Pero hindi lahat ng mga estudyante na pumapasok sa eskwelahan ay pare-pareho ng experiences. Meron sa kanilang mas mahirap, meron sa kanilang walang gadget, meron sa kanilang malalayo ang tirahan, meron sa kanila na mga may disability, meron sa kanila na mga mas matatanda, mga ganyan. So marami yan, no? So napaka-diverse ng students. Kaya ang mahalaga is pag tinignan natin yung diversity na yan, is paano natin i-approach yung pagpo-provide ng basic services ng education sa mga estudyante based on their needs. Yun yung equity. Dito pumapasok yung usapin ng equitability. Yung sa women empowerment naman, tama din ulit si Candy, no? So women empowerment is part of the quest for gender equality. Kasi yun ang gusto natin, di ba? Ang goal natin. And mas maraming taong nakaka-experience, usually kung mga kababaihan, ang nakaka-experience ng inequality. No? Hindi pagkapantay-pantay na pag-access sa services at saka sa mga batas at saka sa mga opportunities and benefits. Kaya women empowerment yung ginagamit na term kasi kailangan natin silang mapalakas, no? Kailangan mas magkaroon sila ng tiwala sa sarili nila, mapaglaban nila ang kanilang mga karapatan para magpantay sa yung kanilang estado sa lipunan. Yun ang ibig sabihin doon.
Okay, thank you, Sir Alvin. Fred, you want to add something?
I don't have anything to say na kasi nasabi na talaga nila, sir. And actually, mas madagdagan yung knowledge ko. So thank you very much, Sir Alvin. And yun lang, tama po. Siguro, yun talaga yung focus natin, gender equality, regardless of who we are, what we are, or what they are, regardless of our sexual orientation, gender identity and expression. Hangat namin na sana is yung gender equality isa sa ipinaglalaban talaga natin kasi merong iba na natatakot ipaglaban ng gender equality kasi baka ma-discriminate din sila. So I hope that after this speaking engagement or after this parang webinar, you will have this courage and the confidence to really advocate for gender equality because lahat tayo ay dapat ipaglaban at isulong ang pagkakapantay-pantay regardless of our SOGI. So yun lang po.
Thank you so much. Ayun, tama nga yun. Ang SOGI ay hindi lang para sa amin na parte ng LGBTQIA+ community, para to sa ating lahat. So yan. Thank you so much. Let's proceed to question number 6.
So the next question is, how do we help when someone is going through gender identity crisis? So pwedeng si Miss Candy Jane muna.
So ayun, ako uli ang nabunot sa raffle. Ayan.
Pa-raffle pala.
How do we help someone that is going through gender identity crisis? This is a very personal question, no? It really takes me back a lot of years ago. Gender identity crisis is very hard. Imagine someone living a life not knowing kung ano ba talaga ang identity niya. It's like being just a shell, walang laman, being empty at all. So I think if you have someone, if you have a relative, if you have a loved one who's experiencing such crisis, it, 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 it's the same with mental health as well. We have to be just very present, and we have to learn how to listen, and most importantly, um if they have something to say, um paano ba, wag natin silang, don't speak over them, don't speak over the people who experiences firsthand, kasi may mga tendency tayo na the alam mo yun, so sobrang we care a lot about them. We tend to say a lot of things that might invalidate their feelings. Again, yung crisis na na-experience ng isang tao with their identity, is not the same with us. Again, iba-iba tayo ng experiences. Yes, we have shared lived experiences, but everyone, everyone has their own personal struggles. So we just have to really learn how to listen, be there, and siguro just really be a safe place for that person. Ayun.
So thank you so much, Miss Candy Jane. So
Isip pa ako ng isip pa ako later, wait lang. Para more.
sige, how about Mr. Alfred?
Again, uulitin ko yung sabi ni Ma'am Candy, this question is very personal and hindi pa ako naka-encounter ng someone talking or someone telling me that they are experiencing gender identity crisis. Pero if ever man, siguro tamang-tama yung sinabi ni Ma'am Candy, just lend your ears, listen lang, be there, and let them feel that you are there. Kasi merong iba na you are just there pero you are not the presence, meron ka physically pero the mindset parang wala. So tama din yung sabi ni Kedi ganina na the gender identity crisis is parang someone who is experiencing or something na kailangan kasing equal or kasing the same ng mental health. So just lend your ears, be there physically and mentally para ma-feel nila that they are not alone, that they are valid, and they have someone na mapaglalabasan nila ng kanilang hinaing. And lastly, keep it confidential. Ano man ang narinig, ano man ang nalaman, kailangan na kayo lang ang makakaalam, kahit tanungin man ng parents niya or tanungin man ng kahit sino. Keep it confidential so the trust of that person na binigay sa'yo is manatili, and para hindi rin siya mas mahirapan pa. So yan lang po.
Thank you so much, Mr. Alfred. So Sir Alvin, may dadagdag ka po ba?
Oo. Una sa lahat, bakit natin ginagamit yung term na gender identity crisis? Ano ba talagang ibig sabihin niyan in the first place, diba? So, at dapat alam natin yung mga bakit natin ginagamit yung word. Pag sinabi mo kasing crisis, no? Pagdating natin sa context ng mental health, ang ibig sabihin po nito ay yung kanyang behavior ay nagpuput sa kanya at risk para niya saktan yung sarili niya. Yun yung crisis. Nagkakaroon na siya ng ganung klaseng parang level of pag-iisip, parang ganyan, sa kanyang sarili. Pag sinabi ba natin confusion, is that at par or the same level at crisis? Crisis na ba yun? Pag sinabi natin, baka nako-confuse lang yung tao. Nako-confuse ako, dumadanas na ba ako ng crisis? Hindi. Magkaibang level siya. Kasi yung level of confusion, so part talaga lahat naman tayo dumadaan dyan. No? Kahit mga heterosexuals dumaan sa ganyang level. Pero hindi yun umabot at the level of crisis. Okay, ang pag-abot natin sa level of crisis, ibig sabihin na talagang marami na nangyayari sa buhay mo na naguguluhan talaga to the point na nagiging dysfunctional ka na. Anong dysfunctional? Hindi ka na nakakakilos ng maayos. Nagiging antisocial, hindi ka na masyadong nag-interact with the people around you, hindi ka na masyadong nagsasalita, masyadong nagtatago ka na, mga ganyan. No? O kaya naman ay nag-iisip ka na ng mga hindi magagandang bagay na gusto mong gawin sa sarili mo. Yun yung level ng crisis. Ang crisis ay pwede nang tumungtong sa level ng tinatawag nating gender identity disorder. Isa po siyang sakit, mental health condition na talaga siya. at dinadiagnose po yun, no, ng mga psychologists. Hindi natin pwede yan sabihin na, naku, baka mamaya disorder ka na, Mare. Hindi ganon. Na hindi tayo pwede mag-determine yan kung hindi yung mga mental health practitioners lang. Kasi may proseso po sa pag-identify nun. Sa paggamit ng term between crisis, confusion, and disorder, mas appropriate siguro yung baka yung level ng confusion o kaya actually ayokong gamitin yung term na confusion eh. Baka it's more of self-identification. Yung part ng process na yon ng self-identification niya, baka sa'yo, parang tingin mo confused siya, pero sa kanya hindi siya nako-confused. Alam niya yung pinagdadaanan niya and alam niya na face yun. Parang ganun. So siguro si Candy muna, no? Tapos meron na akong gustong i-share sa inyo na isang slide para ito yung pwede nating sabihin sa mga individuals na nagkakaroon na ganito klaseng experiences. So go, Candy.
Ayan, thank you so much, Dr. Alvin. Gusto ko again susugan yung sinabi ni Sir, no, kasi kagaya dun sa how it was relayed to us technically, yung crisis could really lead to mental health issue, and it's really serious. Share ko na lang din yung personal experience ko when I was growing up, no. Earlier na sabi ko nga that I thought I was a transgender. I was a trans woman when I was a kid. Because back then, of course, syempre na ano tayo sa heteronormative na sistema, na lipunan. So parang ang classification mo lang, it's either babae ka or lalaki ka. Kung feminine presenting ka or female presenting ka, babae ka, kailangan maging babae ka. Ganon. So, minsan kasi mabobombard ka talaga with a lot of, alam mo yun, actually tama yun eh. Somehow it is very confusing to the point that you would be very dysfunctional. I had to cut a lot of ties with a lot of friends kasi hindi ko alam kung paano mag-interact sa kanila every time that they would ask kung ano ba talaga ako. Ganon. And also it affected my relationship with my mom, with my family, of course, because growing up, yun nga, may mga tendency na, of course, gagatuhan nila eh. Yung, magpapalagay ka ba ng ganito, reassignment, something, alam mo yun. And it would really just mess everything around na, of course, while someone's growing up, syempre, figure out pa niya yung sarili niya. And it would really cause discomfort na kung saan dapat yung first place that you would feel safe. Sometimes yun pa yung ayaw mong uwian kasi hindi ka na komportable talaga. So yun, gusto ko lang din i-magnify kung gaano siya ka-serious. Kasi it is an issue talaga, especially of our young LGBT folks, growing up or waking up and not knowing kung ano ba talaga sila. It's really something. So ayun, I hope we could be kinder talaga to everyone that experiences such crisis. Ayun.
So again, thank you so much, Miss Candy Jane, Mr. Alfred, and Sir Alvin. So maging open po tayo na and be sensitive para makatulong po tayo sa kanila. Ayan.
Meron na akong gustong i-share bago tayo mag-proceed to the next question. Ito yung pwede yung parang pledge, no, ng lahat ng mga taong sumusuporta sa mga friends ninyo, sa mga kakilala, family members na maaring dumadanas, no, ng sitwasyon na kung saan ay kumbaga hindi pa nila masyado alam kung ano pinagdadaanan nila. Ano ba yung pwede natin sabihin? So gusto ko na i-share, wait lang ha. Yan, nakikita niyo ba yung screen?
Yes po.
Yeah. So ito ay galing kay Bernard, no? So this is the ally pledge. So ito yung pwede niyo sabihin. So I will believe you without question. I will respect the way you name yourself. You're the expert on you. I will not judge you or the choices you've had to make. I will respect your privacy and your right to make your own decisions about who you will tell or don't, or how and when. I will not give advice you have not asked for. I will not claim to understand things that I have not been through. I will not make it about me. I will also educate myself. You don't have to educate me. I will do everything I can to protect you. I will speak up against injustices against you. I will not reduce you to your identity and or your orientation. I will not dismiss them as an insignificant part of who you are. I will understand that you are still you and always have been. I will respect your need for LGBTQ spaces and communities where I feel like I'm an outsider. I will understand that identities and orientations can be fluid, and I will not hold you to your words you claim yourself today, but I will take them seriously. I will take risk with you. I will try to be brave with you. I will be your cheerleader when you are brave. I will understand that coming out isn't a one-time event and that you will have to keep doing it over and over again to different people and sometimes to the same people. I will support you every single time. I will not tire of the subject or get impatient if you often assert yourself, your identity and experience because I know that you have to. I will be persistent and vocal as an ally so you don't have to always be the one to speak up. Sometimes you just need a rest. I will understand that sometimes you may be fierce, sometimes you're sad, sometimes you're proud, and sometimes you're scared. It's all good. I will follow your lead. I will listen to you when I mess up and when you tell me so. And I will stay in a relationship with you. Yan ang pwede po ninyo sabihin sa inyong mga friends na para mas maramdaman nila that you're always there. Okay? So, ayan. So, pwede yung picture na niya, pwede yung screenshot. That's for everyone. Okay?
Done actually. Napicturean ko na siya, Doc.
Ako rin sinusundan ko siya kanina.
Kanina pa.
Oo.
Kanina pa pala.
Pwede tayong magsabayang pagbigkas actually.
Yes, actually. Pwede natin sabihin niya na mamaya. Okay.
Thank you so much, Sir Alvin. Now let's proceed to our next question. But before that, I'm reminding everyone to please accomplish the attendance form given on the Zoom message and as well with the Mentimeter if you have questions to our speakers. So from Aliyah, thank you for this very helpful for all of our friends. That's right, Aliyah. Now for our next question, aside from awareness, what can we do to eradicate discrimination among the LGBTQIA+ community? So kahit sino po sa inyo, pwede pong sumagot sa question na to. So
Mauna
Fred,
na ako.
okay, si Candy Jane na mauna.
Ayan, sorry. Isa puso ninyo yung binigay ni Doc. Hindi, actually, itong ally pledge ni Doc, Alvin, this sums everything up. If you, being an ally kasi, it's gonna be, it would take a lot of work. Kasi, of course, hindi naman natin alam lahat eh. Of course, hindi natin siya first-hand experience. Yung discrimination, yung confusion on gender identity, all of that. So it would really take a lot of effort to be someone's shoulder. It would also take a lot of effort to educate yourself. Ayun. Meron pa akong dito. Actually, I asked my friend about that. She is a trans woman, and she's also part of our drag house. Drag sister ko siya. So sabay naming in-embrace yung drag artistry. And ang sabi niya sa akin, hold on, teka lang, medyo malabo ang aking mata. Teka lang. Ang sabi niya sa akin ay, so being a great ally, we have to start within our circles. Yung, of course, dun sa friends natin, sa circle ng friends natin, we have to make sure that we unlearn the microaggressions. Kasi living in a heteronormative society, especially in a very Christian-based system, yung ating country, no? For sure, meron tayong mga practices that we have to unlearn because it would mean aggression towards our LGBT brothers and sisters. So we have to, of course, by unlearning them, we have to educate ourselves. Our SOGI, the importance of the SOGI, knowing that. And of course, sometimes kasi education is not enough. Even especially if we think that there's really a lot of work that needs to be done. Joining NDMOs could also work. Actually, I have being part of an NDMO, yes, Baghari National. We also have allies who help us, mga het people, just what we call them, mga ate naming mga heterosexual brothers and sisters. Sumasama sila dun sa mga activities namin, whether it's rally, whether it's a SOGI sit, situationer, or whatnot. Sumasali sila. Being proactive in the society means a lot to our community as well. Just like with Doc Alvin, yung tinake niyang profession, it's also a service to our community. So it would really take a lot of effort because again, we are trying to dismantle a preconceived notion, a way of thinking na nauna pa sa atin. Hindi pa tayo buhay, nandyan na yung sistemang yan. And for us to back up our LGBT brothers and sisters, we have to really put a lot of work. If we really are aiming for a more a more peaceful, a more equal future para sa lahat. Ayun. Daming sinabi.
Thank you, Miss Candy Jane. So next po.
Siguro ako na lang po before Sir Alvin. Si Sir Alvin na lang yung panapos na salita because siguro for me to eradicate those aside from awareness is to support and be an ally. Being an ally doesn't mean you need or you have to be part of the LGBT plus community or you have to be gay or you have to be part of the community itself. It's like you are supporting the rights, the welfare of your friends and someone who you are defending with. So for example, supporting whales, hindi mo naman kailangan maging whale, diba? So supporting and being an ally for the LGBTQ plus community, kailangan mo lang silang suportahan yung rights, kung ano yung ipinaglalaban nila, kung ano yung parang what they are advocating for. So ganon. And lastly, gusto ko lang i-emphasize yung sinabi ni Candy na avoid microaggression. Microaggression, yun yung parang you are complimenting someone or you are complimenting pero may ginagamit kang bat. For example, this is very rampant na sa family. Like for example, yung anak ko matalino pero bakla. Like ganyan, like that word, you are complimenting pero parang ginadrawback mo siya na may compliment kang ibinigay pero parang may situation na hinihila mo siya pababa. So, avoid microaggression and it can also happen in your circle of friends. For example, guwapo ka sana pero bakla ka, sayang. Kahit friend mo siya or kahit you are very best friend or for example, maganda ka sana kaso transgender ka, sayang like ganon. Nangyayari siya even in the circle of friends. So, avoid using microaggression because being an ally, dapat ikaw yung unang-una na sumusuporta at hindi gumagamit at hindi nagpro-promote ng ikakasakit or ikakasama ng LGBT plus community or ng friend mo. So yun lang, be an ally and support lang talaga and avoid the things that could hurt your friend and kung ano yung ina-advocate niya. So yun lang po.
Thank you, Fred and Sir Alvin.
Iwasan nating maging Chris Aquino. You're crying because
May dugtong.
Pag sinabi mo maganda siya, period. Huwag mo nang dagdagan. Maganda ka pero mga ganon. O kaya don't be offended ha, pero yung sasabihin mo offensive, mga ganyan. Hangga't maaari, just do away with all those things. But anyway, I would just like to share my screen with you. Ito yung mga proposals para sa isang pagpapromote ng SOGI and LGBTQ diversity in organizations, specifically din sa mga educational institutions. Dahil nga school tayo, so dapat ma-apply natin siya. Number one, kailangan magkaroon tayo ng firm participation with the LGBT community, with organized groups. No? If wala pong mga organized groups within the campus, baka isa po sa pwede po natin gawin is to encourage LGBT students to organize themselves. No? Give them opportunities and spaces para magkaroon sila ng, alam mo yun, yung maramdaman nila na you're valued, mahalaga ka, pero mas maganda na maging organized kayo kasi there's power in numbers. Okay? So that's number one. Number two is kailangan magkaroon ng mga client-directed activities. Ibig sabihin, kagaya nito, no, these are activities that are directed towards the information, advocacy, awareness on LGBTQ issues. So ito po yung pwede natin gawin. No? At dapat lagi natin siyang isasama, parang annual activity natin to na pwede natin i-share. Okay? The next one would be yung mga materials natin. Yung mga marketing and press materials dapat ay nakatutok din doon sa pag-i-include ng mga LGBTQ students, LGBTQ faculty members, non-teaching staff. No? Dapat na-identify sila doon, lumalabas yung pangalan na yon. O kaya pwede natin sabihin na people of diverse gender. Pwedeng ganon. Sabihin natin. O kaya naman pwede nyo din sabihin sexual minority. Either way, kahit ano pong mga terminologies ang gamitin nyo, these are all inclusive marketing and press development ng mga information, education, and communication materials. And of course, kailangan mag-communicate tayo ng diversity. Dapat lumabas siya sa policy natin na pwede, dapat ay mag-advocate tayo ng inclusive communication. Dapat tinitrain natin yung mga teachers to become more inclusive in how they teach, no? In mas maging inclusive with their students. Dapat train din natin ang mga members of the management and administration dahil hindi lang naman mga teachers ang may concern, no, kundi pati yung mga sa admin. Halimbawa, yung paano mas maging gender sensitive yung mga security guards, no? Kasama yan sa pwede natin gawin. Na maintindihan nila na their words actually are very stigmatizing, discriminating, and nakaka-hurt yun, no? And pwede din natin i-raise ang awareness sa mga students din and other stakeholders ng university. So paano po natin gagawin yon? Dapat magkaroon ng commitment from the leadership. No, mismo galing sa leader ng university, ng college or ng school, even with the commitment of the organizations, dapat sila mismo they take it into their hearts. No, hindi pwedeng sabihin lang nila dito naman sa school namin wala namang discrimination sa mga gender. Pero pag tinignan mo, in actuality, ang daming mga issues, di ba? So kailangan magkaroon tayo ng commitment. And the way to do that is for you to really look into the issue, first and foremost. Hear them out. Kasi kahit pa sabihin mong, ang gusto namin sa school namin is maging gender equal, maging non-discriminating, but discrimination happens. Nandyan pa rin talaga siya. Kaya kailangan, meron tayong policies in place, meron tayong mga ginagawang interventions to eradicate or reduce it. Tapos dapat may resources. Hindi pwedeng commitment lang, sasabihin lang ng mga teachers at saka ng management na ay nagko-commit kami for LGBTQ safe spaces, pero walang resource, walang pera, walang spasyo, walang tao, walang pa-training, di ba? So kapag ganon, ibig sabihin lip service lang. No? Kumbaga parang namumutawi lang sa bibig nila na parang sasabihin nila na ay gusto namin maging inclusive, gusto namin maging gender sensitive, pero pagdating mo sa mga resources, pagdating mo sa mga programs, interventions, even sa pagtitrain ng mga tao, walang pera. Ibig sabihin nun, hindi sila seryoso, diba? So yan, paano po natin yun papakita pagdating natin sa policy? Kung bakit ko lagi minimension yung policy? Kasi ito yung una na strategy na mas workable for many. Aside from advocating, kasi yung pag-advocate everyday naman natin ginagawa yan, lalo na kapag LGBTQ student ka or faculty member, nagre-raise ka talaga ng awareness. Pero pagdating natin sa practicality, paano natin siya ina-apply in the school, the first thing na pwede natin papasukan talaga is policy. So kailangan sa vision and mission statement pa lang, no, nandun na naka-mention na we are open, no, we are supportive of all students, faculty members, non-teaching staff, etc. Tapos kailangan ma-strengthen nyo din at ma-assess at ma-monitor yung school climate. Kailangan magkaroon kayo ng regular survey para malaman nyo kung sino-sino ba talaga yung mga faculty members nyo. Ilan ba dyan yung comfortable about their sexuality? Ilan ba dyan yung hindi? Ilan ba dyan yung nakaka-experience stigma and discrimination? Bakit? Numbers are effective. No? It will tell the management kung paano po nila i-allocate yung resource. Kapag lumalabas po ba, halimbawa sa school namin, na marami pa rin pong nadidiscriminate kahit na po na nag-advocate pa kami ng gender equality, nag-advocate kami ng LGBTQ safe spaces. Ibig sabihin nun, there's something in the school na nagko-contribute. So kailangan i-analyze nyo yun. Kailangan tulungan nyo yung school itself. Okay? Then, pwede din po ninyong pwede kayo mag-adapt ng mga clear, consistent, and comprehensive non-discrimination policies. For example, si DepEd, meron po yan siyang clear na policy on that. Pero pagdating sa policy ng school, dapat kasama dyan yung monitoring and implementation. Hindi pwedeng paper lang. Kasi lahat naman pwede magdabas ng papel, di ba? Pero pagdating natin sa pag-monitor, ayun ang problema. And paano po natin yung titingnan? No? Ano yung mga policies na yan? For example po nito, like PNU, LaSalle, meron po yan silang mga safe spaces policy and program. Si Philippine Normal University, meron siyang safe spaces code. No? So pwede po ninyong i-adapt yung batas, yung safe spaces law, tapos i-convert niyo po siya into a policy na inclusive of everyone. Okay? Tapos nandun din yung clear actions. No? Ano po yung pwedeng gawin? Halimbawa kapag isang estudyante o isang faculty member ang naka-experience ng stigma and discrimination on the basis of their sexual orientation and gender identity. Ano po yung mga gagawin ng school? Okay. Ano naman yung mga disciplinary measures? Kailangan pagdating natin sa disciplinary measures, dapat pumapasok din na positive and restorative approach. So, halimbawa, may nambuli na estudyante, 'di ba? Tapos na-report siya na pa-guidance ganyan. Ang ginawa, sinuspinde, tinanggal, inexpel. Positive ba 'yon and restorative? Well, hindi. So instead na reinforce natin yung good behavior, no, at na-reduce natin yung negative behavior, mas magiging negative yung implication para sa kanya. So magtatanim na siya ng sama ng loob, magagalit lalo siya sa mga LGBT students and individuals kasi napatanggal siya sa school dahil doon, di ba? So hindi siya restorative approach. So isa po yan sa pwedeng gawin o reviewin. Ano po yung mga policies na pwedeng gawin? Zero tolerance policies, no? So pagdating sa school, pwede po niyang sabihin na this is a safe university or safe campus, and that we do not tolerate any form of discrimination and stigma to anybody on the basis of their sexual orientation and gender identity. You also have to guard. So dapat meron po kayong committee in place to monitor yung mga ganong klaseng abuses. And dapat graduated approach. Hindi natin kaya agad na pinakamataas na para magkarang-magarang approach na agad. Unti-unti. Halimbawa, hindi pa ready yung Parent-Teachers Association. Hindi pa ready yung mga teachers, yung mga parents. Then, unti-unti natin siya, no, na mapaiintindi sa kanila until such time that, the association or the parents themselves are the ones actually saying na, sige, push na natin to kasi naiintindihan na namin. Pero pagka ginawa niyo is nag-create tayo ng program or ng policy, tas biglaan, magugulat yung mga tao. Tapos, ang mangyayari, instead na nakatulong, mas nakasama. Okay? And then, pwede din po tayo magkaroon ng mga policies na nag-design at nag-implement to support transgender and gender non-conforming na mga students. Kagaya na lang ng isang policy na to from UP Diliman. Ito po yung kanilang guidelines on affirming transgender and gender non-conforming students pagdating sa names, pronouns, and titles. Ano po yung policy na to? Ito, pwede natin gawin to sa mga schools. Sa school registrar, lumalabas po doon sa kanilang parang, tawag ito yung database. Nandun yung legal name. So kung ano po yung pangalan na nag-appear sa birth certificate at saka sa government issued IDs, yun yung legal name. Tapos meron nakalagay na preferred name. Yun nakatabi. Okay, yung preferred name, ito po yung makikita nyo parang quote, open close na quotation marks. Ito yung kanyang preferred, yung ginagamit niyang pangalan. For example, ang legal name ko Alvin Floyd, pero ang preferred name ko Alvin lang. Hindi ko ginagamit yung Floyd. So if you call me by Floyd, hindi ako magre-respond. Hindi ko yung kilala. Diba? So, ibig sabihin, you use yung preferred name nila para mas maging inclusive. Tapos nasa policy din na to, yung paggagamit ng pronouns. So similar din, again, nasa ano yan, no? Nasa registrar's form, nasa ID, no? Ano ba kung mga students, no, nasa first day of class, yung pagpapakilala, hi, my name is Candy, mga ganyan. Tapos sa baba nun, my pronouns are she and her, o kaya naman they and them, or he and him. Ganun. So yung mga ganyang mga strategies, simple lang yan, pero ang laki ng impact to the welfare of the students. Okay? And I think ang pinakahuli is, of course, we need to train, develop educators, yung mga teachers mismo, dahil sa mga pag-aaral lumalabas na ang laki ng impluwensya ng mga teachers pagdating sa discrimination and stigma, yung pag-reinforce nun. Kasi sila mismo, hindi nila natutugunan. Sila mismo nagko-contribute, hindi na napapansin. Diba? And kailangan nating i-highlight yung mga teachers din who are also LGBTQ inclusive. Kagaya na lang kanina, no, sa opening, diba? Sabi niya na I am an adopted member of the LGBTQ community. So ako mismo parang ally. So i-highlight natin yung ganong klaseng mga stories. Kapag na-highlight yun, mas nagkakaroon ng awareness, no, at saka mas nag-gravitate yung mga students and stakeholders to that individual. Nung time na nagtuturo ako sa University of Makati, I was very open to my students when I say that this is a safe space. In this classroom, you can wear whatever you want. So if you don't want to wear your uniform because you're not comfortable about it, then you may want to change pagdating mo sa class. Pero paglabas mo ng classroom ko, we have to adhere with the school policies kasi alam natin na hindi pa nagbabago ang mga policies, kaya kailangan pa rin natin i-advocate. But in this room, you are safe. Pwede mong sabihin na lahat ng gusto mong sabihin and whatever that you want, and that hindi ka namin i-judge. So lagi yun, paulit-ulit ko yung mini-mention sa kanila. To the point na kahit yung mga ibang individuals na hindi naman sila nag-out, hindi sila nag-come out. Pero nalaman ko na lang years after, hindi na ako nagtuturo sa school na yun, na meron na silang mga partners sa same sex, mga ganun, tapos mas open na sila sa friends sila. May magandang impact yun to those students na hindi sila nakaranas ng discrimination from the educators themselves. So yan ang pwede kong mga suggestions for everyone para natin mas maging inclusive ang ating mga university or school. Dahil ko sinabi.
Yes, Kati Jane.
Ayun, oo, gusto kong susugan, no, yung sinabi ni Doc Alvin. When it comes to the works kasi in achieving equality, napakalaki ng role ng administration pagdating sa implementing policies. Yes, that is actually correct. We can advocate as much as we want, but as long as walang gumagawa ng policies to really, protect us and provide equal access for everyone, wala talagang difference na mangyayari. That is why it's very important for us to be organized. Napaka-importante ng numbers because when we have great numbers and if we move as one, if we are organized, mas nagiging konkreto yung pagiging visible natin sa community. And if we are concrete, mas malaki yung impact na pwede nating magawa. We have to acknowledge that not everyone gets the same access that we have right now. Hindi lahat ng tao may access sa ganitong klaseng webinars. And in our generation, napakadami yung mga tao in the administration. Alam naman natin, you guys are in a school settings. So of course, ang ating administration sa school, hindi naman sila lumaki with the same access or with the same type of education that we have right now when it comes to 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸. So of course, it's gonna be a gradual change talaga. And for us to help our administration in providing policies that would benefit everyone, we have to be organized para mas ma-implement or mas ma-highlight natin kung ano ba talaga yung pangangailangan ng bawat tao. Ganon. So ayun, siguro for a school setting, yes, that is correct. We really have to be organized to help everyone talaga, especially for those people in power. Kasi sila talaga yung may hawak eh. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Ayn Bernos. Kasi fan ako na Miss Universe, alam niyo naman, syempre. So dun sa interview nila sa Miss Universe, dun sa preliminary interview nila, parang may isang question doon sa lahat. If you can parang do one thing, what would you solve? Poverty and hunger ba? Graft and corruption sa government, or environmental related issues? And ang sinagot niya doon is yung graft and corruption, because actually that is correct. When we have people in power calibrated with, kapag okay ang mga talagang namumuno, masusolusyonan yung ibang issue. And of course, as citizens, we have to make sure that the people we put in power, if we do have the power to do that, na mag-assign ng mga tao, we have to make sure that we put those power who really have that type of intention, or we have those people who has the same goal just like us. Yun lang.
So thank you so
Ayan,
much,
so-
Miss Candy Jane.
Thank you for answering that question po. And sana nga po yung through this webinar po maging call for attention na rin to. And sana yung mga fellow institution na makakapanood and nanonood sa atin ngayon is kunin nila or i-adopt nila yung mga suggestions na binigay ni Sir Alvin para na rin sa mga brothers and sisters natin sa loob ng school. Okay, thank you so much po. Erica?
So the next question, please. So how can we use this platform, the advocacy for gender identity and sexual orientation, to promote lifelong learning? So, sige, unahin natin si Sir Alfred naman.
Okay, so ayun, good afternoon po ulit. How can we use this platform, this advocacy to promote lifelong learning? First is by living what we have learned, by applying what we have learned, and by sharing what we have learned. First, by applying, lahat ng natutunan natin, hindi siya kailangan i-educate lang natin yung iba. Kinakailangan i-educate natin yung sarili natin, and after natin i-educate yung sarili natin, we have to apply what we have learned. Hindi puro salita lang, we have to practice what we preach, diba? Ika nga. So kinakailangan, for us to be able to give to others, kinakailangan meron at nandun yun sa ating sarili. So to promote lifelong learning, to promote 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸, the advocacy of gender identity and sexual orientation, kinakailangan we know in ourselves kung ano ba yung pinaglalaban natin at kung para kanino at kung para saan. And by that, we can motivate others para may guide sila, para may leader sila, or they can have a basis on what they are also advocating for. Because if walang tatayo or if walang magli-lead sa mga fellow youth natin, parang wala silang basis and mas matatakot sila na ipaglaban kung ano ba ang dapat tama at kung ano ba ang dapat natin isulong. So to wrap it up, I really want to emphasize that by living what we are advocating for, by educating others for what we are advocating for, we can promote lifelong learning. All we have to do is to promote, apply, and educate others. Kasi yun, dun talaga iikot yung parang magiging component or process ng advocacy na sinusulong natin.
So thank you so much, Sir Alfred. How about Sir Alvin?
Yun. So, susugin ko lang sinabi ni Fred, no, na it's about applying. And so yung pag-apply kasi ng mga natutunan natin today, yun yung pinakamahirap na part. No? Yung pag-apply nito, lalo na sa mga families, friends, and other relationships that we have, that's the most challenging part. Madali lang yung gumawa ng policy, madaling gumawa ng programs, madaling gumawa ng advocacy, pero pagdating mo sa pag-apply mismo sa sarili mong relationships, sa pag-apply nito sa sarili mong family members, that's where the real challenge is. Dito ka talaga matitest kung talagang naisa sa puso ba talaga natin, no? Na-apply ba talaga natin? Tayo ba mismo nagiging sensitive tayo sa mga words natin? Tayo ba mas nagiging conscious tayo sa effort natin? tayo ba hindi nagiging mas yung mga biases natin natutugunan ba natin, no? And all of these things, yan yung pwede natin gawin in everyday life sa platform natin. For example, pagdating even in social media postings, so yung mga comments mo, yung the way ka nag-interact with other social media users, no? Isa din yan sa pwede nating pagpasukan ng ating advokasya. Pag mayroon kayong mga nakikita from your friends na nagpo-post sa mga microaggressions o kaya sila mismo nagiging discriminating, pwede mo silang i-PM kung ayaw mo namang pahiyain. Pero meron iba talaga gusto pahiyain, no? They will call you out right there and then. Parang ganon. Sabi pa nga nila, this is not a cancel culture, but this is a call out culture. We will have to call out if we know that you are discriminating and stigmatizing people, because kailangan malaman mo na what you're doing is not right. May mga ganong mga individuals talaga. Pero there are some individuals naman who are more of, sabihin na lang nating mas discreet pagdating nila sa kanilang approach. They will have to talk out with you. So ipipm ka nila na, friend, baka naman pwede mong tanggalin yung comment na yun, o baka naman pwede mong i-revise kasi nakaka-hurt yan with our friends, nakaka-hurt yan with individuals na maaaring makabasa nagpa-follow sa mga post mo, may mga ganon. Kapag hindi niya talaga ginawa, kulamin na natin siya. Charot lang. Pag hindi niya ginawa talaga, baka kailangan na natin siya i-call out. So at least gradual lang naman. Unti-unti. Print out mo yung picture, bumili ka ng itim na kandila, unti-unti lang. Until such time, pag hindi siya nagbago, nakipagdasal na natin talaga siya. Diba? Gradual lang na. Oo. Siguro, meron lang po akong gustong sabihin siguro sa inyo bago tayo siguro matapos today, is yung sinabi po ni Sandra Bullock na sa speech niya during sa 2010 Academy Awards. Sabi niya that there is no race, no religion, no class system, no color, nothing, no sexual orientation even that makes us better than anyone else. We are all deserving of love. Si Sandra Bullock na nagsabi niya. Kaya isa puso natin yan sa araw-araw nating pamumuhay.
So thank you so much, sir. How about Miss Candy Jane?
Ayan. Thank you so much for that. And maraming salamat din kay Sandra Bullock, ang aking patron saint. At ayun, kagaya nga na sabi ni Sir Alvin, kapag di pa rin sila umayos, let's resort to violence. Hindi, joke lang ulit. Ayan, nang babaliw lang ako, pasensya na. So, sorry, teka, nawala ako. Ano ulit yung tanong? Ano ulit yung question? Teka
So yung
lang.
question natin for this one is, how can you use this platform, the advocacy for gender identity and sexual orientation, to promote lifelong learning?
Ayan, oo. Na-encounter. Nako, bumalik na naman ako sa lifelong learning M&M.
Welcome back.
Yes, it's good to be back. So, ayun, as a lifelong learner, yun, as an FCPC yan, when we say lifelong learners kasi, it's an never-ending learning. So we have to make sure that we are always welcome for new knowledge, new understanding. Again, when it comes to SOGI, we're talking about human mind. And itong kaisipan natin when it comes to SOGI, for sure it will progress pa as time goes by. Marami pa tayong mapapag-aralan na for sure hindi pa natin alam ngayon. So we have to make sure that we are ready and we are dedicated to really learn. And again, and apply those things. Kasi if we just take it by word, or if we just alam mo yun, kung pang-isahang beses lang kasi to, hindi talaga siya walang difference na mangyayari. So ayun, we have to make sure that itong mga natutunan natin sa webinar na ito ay madadala natin sa 4 na sulok ng bahay natin, sa mga kamag-anak natin, sa mga kaibigan natin. And we have to make sure, if you really want to make difference, kasi we have to know, we have to acknowledge that what we experience right now could be experienced as well ng magiging anak natin. So, tigilan na, 'di ba? Parang wag na nating iparanas dun sa mga bata. It's already like a generation of struggles, chain of generations ng struggle talaga. And compared doon sa mga, alam mo yun, the way it is being discriminated, the way our people are being discriminated before, na talagang tino-torture, we've come a long way. But there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. And again, we have to be lifelong learners in order for us to achieve talaga the change, and for us to dismantle talaga, and to unlearn the patriarchal and the heteronormative society that we are living right now. Ayun.
So thank you so much. So I guess last question na yon.
Yes, last question na yan. Pero meron ako nakuha ang question from menti.com. So, yung question is, what advice can you give to the family members and friends of an LGBTQIA+ member?
Sino gusto mo una?
Okay, Sir Alvin, kung pwede ikaw na po mauna.
Okay. Anong advice ang pwede natin ibigay sa kanila? Well, actually, na-mention na yan early on dito sa webinar. The best advice is to not pressure them to come out, to conform or sumunod doon sa sinasabi ng lipunan na dapat ganito ang suot mo, dapat ganito ang itsura mo. Mapapansin po ninyo, eto na lang, parang gusto ko lang i-relate. Kung nanonood kayo ng mga Disney movies, tingnan niyo po kung paano ang transition ng mga Disney princesses from the time na nagsimula sila with Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, the first 3 princesses. And kung paano po nag-transition yung language, framing, and approach ng mga bagong Disney princesses nila, like Moana, sila Elsa. Makikita niyo yung startling difference silang dalawa. And makikita po ninyo kung paano yung story nagpo-progress. And ano ang kahalagahan ng family doon sa buhay ng mga characters na yon to become more empowered, independent, to become strong individuals. Similarly, pag ina-apply po natin to sa mga LGBTQ kids, sa mga anak, sa mga younger individuals, ganon din po natin siya ina-apply. Malaki ang impluwensya ng family members. So, dapat hangga't maaari, we will not use words that will be hurtful. Hangga't maaari, kung hindi kayo sure kung paano po natin siya sasabihin, the best way for you to do is to ask. I mean, there's no harm in asking, anak, ano ba yung term na to? Paano ko ba to sasabihin? Gusto ko kasing matuto, ganyan. You know what, if you do that, it's a learning environment not just for the kid, to share yung kanyang experiences, but also to you, di ba? Kasi hindi mo naman yan nakasanayan eh. Sabi pa nga ni Kelly, di ba? Yung generation na kinagisnan mo has a different, di ba, level of information, level of awareness pagdating sa mga issues na to. But now it's a different time, di ba? So kailangan open din tayo about listening to their lives, And ang pinakamahirap pagdating sa mga individuals, not just parents, but even friends and other people na nakikinig ng mga storya na yan is your bias and judgment. So my suggestion for you is huwag ka munang magsalita hanggat maaari. Itiko mo muna yung bibig mo. Huwag ka munang sumabat. Hayaan mo lang siyang magkwento. There are times na hindi nila kailangan ng advice mo. They just wanted for you to be there. They just wanted you to be present. That's it. Your presence is their greatest support. Mararamdaman nila yung sincerity mo kahit wala kang sasabihin. And minsan, yung sasabihin pa natin, instead na nakatulong, mas naging harmful. So, hangga't maaari, yun muna. Magano ka muna, step back ka muna, and then try to process these things. Minsan, the best suggestion, sabi pa nga ng mga practitioners, is itulog mo muna siya. Hangga't maaari kung binigyan sinabi sa'yo ng anak mo, Mom or Dad, I'm gay. Mga ganun. Tapos di ba, ang una mong gustong sabihin is, magre-react ka agad. Hanggat maaari, huwag ka muna mag-react. Tapos, sabi mo lang na, sige lang anak, okay lang, it's okay. I will listen to your story, whatever that you wanted to say to me. If you're not ready to tell me your experiences, that's also okay in your own time. So that's the best way for you to do it. Ayun, baka may
Thank you so
si Andy at saka si Fred.
Baka kasi
Dami ko na sinabi.
Ayun,
Thank you so
teka
much,
lang.
Sir Alvin. Yes, Miss Candy.
Oo, ako nasunod kasi yung lashes ko bumibigay na eh. Tinatago ko na lang siya sa bangs ko. Oo. Buti ng bangs Garcia lang tayo today. Ayan. So, yeah, to answer that question, actually, of course, nasabi na ni Doc Alvin pretty much everything eh. But for me, I want to talk to that kid. I want to talk, this message will be for that kid, who would need that help. Let's be patient. Kasi kagaya nga ng ang daming bawal eh, 'di ba? Ang daming we have to be very sensitive in dealing with us, of course. But of course, not everything kasi is provided agad-agad. Our mothers, our fathers, hindi, again, ang laki ng generation gap natin, and yung information, yung how liberated we are right now is not the same with their generation. So magkakaroon pa yan ng period of adjustment eh. And I'm pretty sure magkakaroon ng mga times wherein may masasabi sila that would hurt us. It does not mean that they hate us. We have to acknowledge that people are also trying to understand us. Kasi at the end of the day, lahat lang naman tayo ay victim nung sistema. Hindi naman really victim, but we are just practicing what has been taught to us millenniums ago, So lahat tayo are just trying to unlearn things, be better. So if you were patient enough to identify yourself or to rediscover yourself, let's also be patient enough with those people who would try their best to understand you as well. And meron kasi meron akong parang friend who came out parang when he was young, parang nung high school ata kami. And yung the way it was, yung reciprocated by his family, it took them probably around 10 years, kasi 10 years na ata simula nung nag-first year high school ako eh. So it took them more than 10 years. But it's not impossible. It's not impossible. So let's cling to the hope and let's trust, kasi for sure when it comes to family and friends, there would always be love. Kailangan lang mutual yung understanding with each other, and always remember that if you do not have if you don't really find that support, you're always welcome to choose your own family. It's not disowning them. It's just having your people, because we don't live alone. We need to have our people to back us up. Yeah, and I think that's okay.
Thank you, Candy
Siguro
Jane and
ako na lang
Alfred.
yung natitira, diba?
Yes.
Okay. Doc Alvin, message niya is to the family. Then ang message naman ni Candy is for the kids. Siguro ako, I would go for both. Diba? Parang Miss Universe lang if wala ka ng choices. Doon ka sa Siguro I would say to the parents, to the friends, or to the kid asking to the question, everything is okay and will be okay. Tama yung sabi ni Candy na siguro mag-a-adjust, mahihirapan, mako-culture shock yung parents natin, and tama rin si Doc Alvin na kinakailangan wag na rin husgahan. Pero I just want to emphasize that everything is okay and will be okay in time. Lahat man tayo ay mahihirapan for the period kung magkakaroon ng changes, pero everything will be okay. Hindi man ngayon, hindi man bukas, pero I believe sa susunod na mga araw or sa susunod na mga taon. And I just want to emphasize then, not just for the family, not just for the parents, and not just for the kids, but for all of us here, hindi man natin mababago ang pag-iisip ng mga Pilipino ngayon, pero unti-unti, dahan-dahan, maaabot rin natin ang inaasam nating pagkakapantay-pantay. Hindi man ngayon, hindi man bukas, pero who knows? As long as we are striving to promote the gender equality, to promote equity, as long as we are not surrendering to promote what we are advocating for, maaabot din natin ang lahat. So all we have to do is to trust the process, to live with the process, and to hope that what we are advocating for kay maa-achieve din natin in the right time, sa tama at sa wasto at sa sapat na panahon. So yun lang, kasi answer naman nila yung question. Yun na lang yung sasabihin ko. So thank you.
Thank you po again. Thank you so much for our speakers, Doc Alvin, Fred, and Miss Candy Jane. Thank you for sharing your impeccable knowledge about this matter. It really helped us to have deeper understanding about LGBTQIA+ community, SOGI, and the do's and don'ts when it comes to dealing with people inside this group. And as a token of appreciation to our guest speakers, kindly accept this certificate of appreciation for your time and your valuable contribution in today's event.
Please allow me to read. This certificate of appreciation is awarded to Mr. Alvin 𝐶𝐬𝐧𝐿, Ms. Candy Jane, and Mr. Alfred Palco Aguirre-Gozon for being one of the guest speakers for the webinar entitled Mr., Miss, and MX, Supporting Gender Identity and Expression for Lifelong Learning, with the theme Promoting Enhanced Quality Education, Research Educational Support System, and Lifelong Learning for All, given this 20th day of November 2021 via Zoom, signed by our Supreme Student Council President, Ms. Charlotte Marie Sales, Mrs. Chodora Santelices, the head of the Office of Student Affairs Services, and the Vice President for Administration and Student Services, Dr. Neovinci O. Simon.
So FCPC Supreme Student Council are stepping beyond the expectation and try to reach prominent individuals to give their messages to the youth. So our speaker for today, she is known for pushing equality laws in the Senate and for her fight against SOGI-based discrimination in the country. Let us all welcome for her call for action, Senator Risa Hontiveros.
Kumusta kayo mga mahal? Lahat tayo apektado ng pandemya. But we have learned early on that we are not all in the same boat. Some communities and sectors have been hit by the multiple crises in our country in devastating ways more than others. Whatever burdens they face have been exponential this past year and a half. This is the outcome of inequality. What is equality all about? Ano ba ang nakataya sa salitang equality? Well, hindi ito feel-good word lang. Equality spells the difference between a visit to the hospital and whether or not they'll accept you or reject you, or if you can or cannot afford to be treated just because of your SOGI. Equality shapes the experiences of students if they'll have a happy school life, make new friends, and enjoy what they learn. O kung mabubuli sila o may expel dahil sa SOGI nila. Ang bigat ng salitang equality. Yet sometimes we take it for granted. Whether or not we realize it, we sustain systems that keep us unequal without fully understanding na pati tayo affected. Equality is about all of us. Walang totoong equality sa lipunan natin kung may isang hindi kasali. Dapat lahat. Dapat all, hindi sana all. We must all have a fair chance at being allowed to participate in society. The LGBTQIA plus community knows that when they fight for their own rights, their rights are human rights, not special rights. The community has always been at the front lines of the terrible and painful battle for our human rights. The LGBTQIA plus community struggles for us all. Ang pride ay isang pagtataya na balang araw makakarampa tayo sa panibagong at mas mabuting mundo para sa ating lahat. Pagtaya ito, no matter what society looks like now, especially amid the pandemic. Pagtaya ito para sa kabataan natin, para sa mga nagdusa at nagluksa dahil sa diskriminasyon, para sa kinabukasan na bukod sa gusto ay kailangan natin. The LGBTQIA plus community, Pride, is an embodiment of hope. It is knowing that despite these painful times, despite the cruelty inflicted on us, we can celebrate who we are. We can celebrate that we're alive anyway. At pananalig na sa pagtataya natin sa lipunan na pantay-pantay ang lahat. Tuloy-tuloy ang laban, mga mahal.
Thank you so much, Senator 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸𝐾 for your message. And everyone always remember that when it comes to equality, it should be dapat all. May the message of Senator 𝐒𝐮𝐻𝐸𝐾 instill in our hearts and minds. Let's eradicate discrimination and be an ally.
So to officially close today's webinar, may we call in Mr. Arnel Benaventura, SSC College of Education representative, for his closing remarks, followed by Ms. Angel de Guzman, the SSC College of Liberal Arts representative, for the closing prayer.
Thank you to our dearest administrators, students, parents, members of the LGBTQIA+ community. In behalf of FCPC Supreme Student Council, we thank you for letting this webinar to happen. As we mark the end of this webinar, I wish to commend you all for having made time out of your busy schedules to attend this important event. Every day, the LGBTQIA+ community is subjected to discrimination, abuse, and inequality. That's why we urge to say that all of us have the right to live equally. The people in the LGBTQIA+ community tend to think that they are lower than the other people who seem normal than them. We are equally important in the world we belong to. The world won't form a perfect equilibrium if it weren't for the third gender. This may seem untrue because male and female can already make an equilibrium, but LGBTQIA+ community made a big impact to the world and widely excelled nationwide with their exceptional and extraordinary talents. We can do more about it. There are hidden talents in us. There are so much more in us that is much better to showcase than keeping it in ourselves. The fight for the LGBTQIA+ is a fight for equality and liberty. We must advocate for them at all costs. Thank you.
Let's bow our head and feel the presence of our dear Lord. Lord God, maraming salamat po sa araw na ito at binigyan niyo po kami ng pagkakataon na makapagsama-sama at matuto. Salamat po sa mga speaker na meron kami ngayon at sa mga aral na dala nila. Salamat po sa gabay at inyong mga biyaya. Hinihiling po namin na kung ano man po ang mga bagay na natutunan namin sa araw na ito ay aming madala at magamit sa aming pang-araw-araw na gawain. Hinihiling po namin na malagpasan na po namin ang iba't ibang pagsubok sa pandemyang ito. Hinihiling po namin at pinapasalamatan ang lahat ng ito sa inyong pangalan. Amen.
So thank you so much, Mr. Arnel and Miss Angel. So to all the participants, before we part ways, may I request everyone to please open your cameras for photo op. Ayan. So thank you so much, everyone.
We would like to thank the FCPC Admin, Office of Student Affairs Services, and the Supreme Student Council for making this event possible. We would also like to thank all the wonderful people who attended today's event. We hope that you enjoyed and learned something from this webinar. Thank you, keep safe, and spread the love. I am Ranel Martin A. Samson.
And I am Erica Prosalasha, the allies of